Happy Friday evening. How's everybody doing? Conan in studio and in nice and early. Getting the time. 7 p.m. Florida is 9 p.m. or sorry, 5 p.m. here. Walker fam, hey, how's it going? Chase, dude, what's happening, man? Don't forget while we're getting going here, share out the link. Get the link out on to as many channels as you can. Get some people up in here. The new time slot, hoping to attract some more people here. Last week we got almost 100 views, which was good. So we'll see what happens today. How's the Walker family doing today? I'm also gonna try maybe to do a bit of this. Hey Jim Arnold, how are you, buddy? Right on, man. We're just getting set up, getting ready to go here. I have Jimmy from To the Top of the Crane on standby, ready to go. We were just chatting there before the stream, so everything's good, everything's set up. I think the audio should be great. Let me know if you have any issues with the audio today. I think this should be good. If it only thing would be audio levels, but I think everything should be good. I ironed out those issues. Might play a little bit of music at some point here and try to control it just from the software here. And yeah, let me go. Upbeat maybe, and then I can control it from here. Let me know if you guys can hear the music as well. I'm gonna have it turned down in the software. So, but I don't want it to drown out any of our voices. And there we go. All right. So, as without any further ado, we're gonna go jump over to our dual screen here and check out or talk to Jimmy from To the Top of the Crane. The link to his channel is in the description. And from what I'm doing now is, on the Friday that I talk to somebody, or we talk to somebody, I'm going to put their channel at the top of the featured channels list on my homepage as well. So I didn't get a chance to do it last week for Mountain Rain, but I did add her to the list, and she did release a construction video this week, so on one of her more recent house flips. So we're really excited for her. She'll be I think putting out more and more content, and because she like I said, she has her own business. They do a lot of house flipping, so I expect to see a lot more videos coming from her. Okay, if you can you hear the music? Is the levels good? I'm gonna jump on over to the dual cam here. Hey, there we go. Everybody say hi to Jimmy from To the Top of the Crane. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
It sounds really good, I think. Let me know. We got to make sure that you guys can hear us over the music. And if you can't hear the music, also let me know. The only way I'm going to be able to tell is if you guys tell me before I watch the replay. So, but yeah, we're here to talk about. I will be putting the timestamps in the descriptions as well from when we start talking and end talking, so you don't have to listen to me, ramble on about anything. Get right to the meat of it.
Walker Fam says, hello, how are you doing, Walker Fam?
Excellent.
So the audio's good then.
All right, good stuff. That's excellent. Yeah, like I was saying, that echo I was hearing last week was unfortunate, but plus the microphone, I was talking directly into it, and I guess that's bad. You want to have it on a 45-degree angle, sort of, and talk
I've
across
got
it.
about 2 feet away from me and angled towards the ceiling a little bit.
Yeah, right? So don't talk into it, talk across it, is what they say. So we're going to try that out. Hopefully it's good. So Jimmy, tell us, how long have you been a crane operator, and what was it like for you when you first started? How did you feel about that? And nope.
Yeah, when I first, I'd say probably 10 years seat time. And starting out, I mean, you start off in small cranes, rotors and little carry decks, shuttle lifts, smaller boom trucks. But it's still a crane, so the responsibility is still the same. But it's a little less nerve-wracking to start off small than it is to. I mean, I wouldn't encourage anybody to try to jump into a big crane. But I mean, it's always nerve-wracking. I can't say that ever really goes away. I That's one of the things I enjoy about it is it's a different challenge every day.
That's for sure. I mean I was a rigger for quite a while, and the excitement, it was pretty exciting. Very fast paced, different every day, almost, you know. But yeah, very very stressful, especially for you guys.
And it really varies for me and those that are in the crane rental industry versus someone that just goes to the same job site day in, day out. I mean, with crane rental, we might be picking an HVAC unit one day and flying a house the next day. So there's a lot of diversity.
I see. Yeah. What would be the so did you rig before you became an operator?
I was an oiler.
An oiler, right? And
so the way I got my start, I guess, right after high school. Well, I'll even back up past before I was even in high school. I was always one of those kids that took stuff apart.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I had to take it apart to see how it worked, and then I would try to put it back together. And I would say I was successful 50% of the time as a kid, but that never left, and I just continually advanced that from smaller things to bigger things to. Actually, right after high school, I became an operator of a machine called a car topper. So, if you want to Google something interesting,
a car topper.
Interesting. Look up a car topper.
I'm Googling it right this second. Actually, a car topper.
A Herzog car topper. It's a backhoe that you climb on top of a rail car and unload rail cars with.
Okay. I think I might have seen them. I was just working in a field for Can West, and they were right on the tracks.
Yeah, I did that for off and on for about 2.5 years. Traveled all over the country doing that. And I got tired of traveling. And actually, I had a bad car accident out in Idaho, and completely left the construction industry altogether and became an EMT. And I met my wife, which is a nurse practitioner now, but at the time she was finishing up her nursing. And EMS and nursing don't go hand in hand, so I chose a different path and let her do her thing and went back into the construction industry and went in as a field mechanic.
Okay. On heavy equipment,
I was a field mechanic for. You remember a company that was bought by United Rentals called RSC Equipment Rental?
RSC. It sounds familiar, but I know United, so RSC.
United bought RSC out a few years ago, but I was a field mechanic for them for 10 years.
Okay.
And then left there and joined our local union, our IUOE, and started off in telehandlers and skid loaders, and
oh yeah,
gradually worked my way into cranes were always one of those things that kind of drew me to it because really, and I don't want anybody to think I'm downplaying any of the other machines that are out there, but cranes are kind of the pinnacle.
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
And so that's where I ended up.
Yeah, when you're an operator, you're definitely at the top of the food chain. So on site. So.
Well, and even with all this time, all the seat time that I've got, it's still kind of a challenge sometimes to keep the block in perfect control and to look at a job and assess exactly how much boom I have to have out and all of that. So that's why I enjoy it, is that it just keeps me challenged.
Yeah, you have to show up on site, and a lot of times sometimes there's a what's called a critical lift study done, right?
Oh yeah.
And but I would say most of the jobs probably don't have that, right? So when you show up, you have to figure it out, right? Or is that kind of already arranged through the estimator or project manager before you get there, or?
I'd say 80% of the time we figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
Some of the jobs we go out and preview them, and just like the video I posted last week where I was tandem picking with that Lee Bear 1130. We previewed that job, but typically in crane rental you just go out and you assess the job site and you assess the load and you make it happen.
So how easy is it is it to get into that union nowadays? The
Um,
operators and engineers, right?
yeah, it's International Union of Operating Engineers.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure what it's like in Canada. Down here, with the way work, I mean, we've got a lot of work, um, so I would say it'd be fairly easy to get in. You know, people coming straight out of high school, if they want to join a trade, they could go to our local training center and apply, and it would be fairly easy to get in. Or people that have previous experience that want to just join a union, it would be easy for them to get in. Otherwise, it's kind of the hey, I know this person deal, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like that with every union. I think if you, they actually is literally on the application. Who do you know, right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
union, who could, yeah, vouch for you or whatever, right? It certainly helps if dad or uncle is on there,
Oh yeah, and
right?
I mean, it's a as bad as it sounds. That's the way this world works. It's kind of who you know.
It is. I even at my where I am, it's all about that networking and who you know, right? Like I piece working and contract work, right? Like that's yeah, yeah. You have a if you need work or whatever, you just call it your pocketbook, right? But
And we can't do that though. Our IUOE local bylaws are we're a hiring hall, so they hire out of off an out of work list.
that's right. Yeah, just to get in though, that's what you're referring to. Yes, that's right. I yeah, unfortunately, that's the nice thing about being a union. I always liked the union model. I did. They don't practice it out here with the operators, of course they do. But you can work for a general contractor and still run like tower cranes and I'm not certain about mobiles, but you can run tower cranes without being a member of the union. I believe. Is that some? Does that sound right?
Yeah, here, I mean, you have to be IUOE to operate any crane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm not one of those people that's going to stick their head in the sand and say that unions absolutely the way to go. Union doesn't fit some contractors, and I get it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I catch a lot of flack from some local people for that. You know, like local brothers, sisters that are in my union with me, and um, they don't see the big picture. You know, our union wages help keep the non-union wages up, and
Yep.
their wages help keep ours in check to where we don't price ourselves out of a market. But there has to be both. The small mom and pops have to be able to function in an environment that makes them profitable. Otherwise, they don't have a job.
Yep. That's absolutely yeah. You're right. There is a place for it. I definitely would like to see more union out here because of that reason. Because the fact that there isn't is the wages and the rates have just plummeted, right? And
Uh,
it's awful because your companies have to bid these, up against these low prices as well, eh? And we're working for less. It's just a mess, right? Like nobody's making real money, eh? And it's not a good situation to be in.
well, the only way to fix that is to get more people in membership.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, drywall is like a renegade trade, right? Like I don't know how I ended up in it, being a carpenter and a project manager, a safety officer, and like with all my rigging experience and things like that, working for general contractors. How I ended up as a piecework drywaller is beyond me.
Hey, sometimes you just got to roll with what you know. You know,
Right? Well,
play the cards that you're dealt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess there's a little bit of freedom in that trade, so that's probably the trade-off. But man, oh man, I that's it's good to hear that a lot of work is happening where you are. And where is it you guys are located?
We're in Missouri. I'm an hour north of Kansas City.
Okay, awesome.
So
Um,
if you ever get the opportunity to come down here, by all means, let me know.
Absolutely, yeah, that'd be awesome. I plan to definitely travel more, of course. Once the kids are a little bit older, where I could afford a big motorhome to put them all in, right?
Well, if you come to Missouri, just come to the house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that'd be sweet. Yeah, a road trip would be nice though.
If you make it down here, we've got how many kids do you have?
Altogether, I have four now. Yeah.
We can still make it work.
Yeah, right on.
We've got room.
That's
Luckily for me, I married way over my head.
right on.
So if you ever make it down here, you got a place to stay.
I appreciate that. That's very nice offer, man. Yeah, the kids are awesome though. I mean, my wife and I were just like talking to each other yesterday. Like, how did we end up here? Like with kids and like all these kids and everything, right? Like, it's just one day it happened, and it's it is what it is. But man, I wouldn't change a thing, right? They're amazing. But
We've only got 2.
you got the 2.
Our
Yeah.
philosophy was don't let them outnumber us.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When you're outnumbered, it changes. Things change.
The dynamic changes for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh man. 2 is very manageable, and then 3 is okay. Actually, pretty hard, and then 4 is apparently supposed to be a little bit easier than 3. So we'll see. Right, because you got, I guess, more. They're keeping each other occupied more, right? I guess so.
Yeah. Well, how's your youngest one took a spill?
Yeah. Oh, the poor guy. Yeah, he took a spell off of like he was in a chair, but he took the whole chair and everything with him, and fell and broke his nose, and he's good. He's actually really good. It looks a lot better already. Like I get it because I've broken my nose a few times, so you know, it's a little different for a baby, but just a little bit of research and keep an eye on it, and it looks really good. It's growing straight. It's not crooked, so that's the important thing.
Well, you can always duct tape it.
You can duct tape it, yeah, yeah. Well, they say like 3 to 5 days after, if it's growing crooked, to get them into the doctors they can still straighten it from there. But I couldn't imagine having to do that though, right? But so you're running a Tadano. I'm seeing a lot more of them now that I know you. I'm seeing a lot more of them out in the field. The RTs this one company called My Shack Rentals here in Edmonton is running a lot of Tadano RTs.
I've got a diecast RT Tadano RT back behind me.
Oh, nice. Is that the one with the stinger on it, or is that?
They both have the jib on them, but
yeah.
I'll roll back here and grab them.
Sure, the jib. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's see if this will show up. So
yep, that's the one.
It's a diecast version of a GR1000.
Yeah.
And these are to scale. These are 1/50th scale.
Look at the boom on that, right? How long is that boom?
I believe on the GR1000 it's 150 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
about 70 feet of swing away jib.
Wow, eh? That's
and I
amazing.
I can convert that to metric for you, so sorry. You'll have to do that on your own.
150 feet? Be like 60 something meters.
And then the other one, this is a pretty close cousin to what I operate. I just broke my jib on the ceiling. That's awesome.
Oh shit. No.
So this is an ATF 160 G-5, and what I operate's an ATF 180 G-5. Let's we got to do a little jib repair here.
Yeah. So 150 feet is 45 meters.
Okay, so that's what the GR1000 has in it. I think it's about 150 feet.
Yeah. And
then the one I operate has 197 feet of main.
Holy, Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Too. It's exciting. Like just trying to figure out how to rig some of the things. Like, just some of the loads are just, like just different, right? Not everything has pick points, right?
Oh yeah, and I've actually got some pictures on my phone of I think it was a chiller or something that it was a 16-point pick.
16 point.
So we had a spreader bar up top with outrigger beams off of it, and then rolling blocks off the outrigger beams, and it was a nightmare. It looked like a mobile, like that you'd put over a baby's bed with all the stuff on it.
Yeah.
what it looked like.
Wow. What did I think what do we have? Maybe a split four. I had a spreader bar and then two. You know what I mean? Two slings type thing. So 4 points or whatever. But yeah, it was. I don't remember what it was. It was some kind of unit, electrical unit, of course. But
Yeah, those Tadanos that you're starting to see, Tadano's gaining a lot more market share in North America. I'd
okay.
like to say it's because of my channel. And if
Yeah.
anybody from Tadano's watching, it's absolutely because of my channel, and they should probably send me a check for that.
Yeah, they should.
But really, what it is Tadano's been building machines since the 50s, but they've been primarily over on the other side of the world, and they've really focused on North America over the last 10 to 12 years. But they build a great machine.
Yeah, from the videos I've seen on your channel, it's a very very nice machine.
And ours is a 2013, so that's 6-year old technology, and it's still. I mean, it's well, and you can still use the same analogy. We've got a 70s link belt crawler that still operates, but um, that Tadano will run right with the newest Lee Bears and everything else in the same class. And I get that question a lot on my channel is, Lee Bear, Terex, Tadano, Grove, what do you prefer? And honestly, um, Tadano.
Yeah, yeah. I'm you know what? I've never been lucky enough. Like they don't like when a big lab here or mode or something comes on site, right? You don't get close to them. Like it's only the littler ones, like the private contractors. You kind of get to help out more, right? Because when the big guys come on, they have their crews with them, right? So you can maybe help them put their pads below their outriggers. That's about it, right? And then you're flagging for them basically, right? So I've never been lucky enough to see one close enough, right? Hey, Paul Peck, drywall tubes in the house. How are you, bud?
When I'm setting my rig up, it's just our guys doing it because I don't want someone that hasn't been around our crane swinging a hammer at it.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. Of course. Um, you're, yeah, of course. Yeah, you guys have crews. How many guys on a crew to run that crane on a daily, like on an average?
We took it out this morning and did a pick that was, I think I ran 179 feet of boom out, and just me and one other guy.
Two guys. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 to 4 guys. I've seen, depending on the type of lift, I suppose. But what would be the biggest thing, the craziest thing you've ever lifted? Maybe the largest thing.
The heaviest thing I've ever picked, and I haven't done it with the Tadano, was a 179,000 pound gas turbine rotor.
179,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
But the tallest pick, and actually anybody that hasn't seen my channel, but if you and you may not have even seen this video because I found you after the fact, but still to this day, my highest tip height is on a video on my channel, and that's 330 feet.
330 feet.
I stacked out a cell phone tower that topped out at 310, and I had 330 feet of tip height.
That's think about that, guys. That's just about 3 stories. We'll say a little bit over 3 stories, right?
That's the length of a football field, American football field with both end zones.
Yeah.
And actually, I've got a picture of it. I'll see if it'll focus on my phone. That's the most nervous I've been.
Yeah.
And the highest pick I've ever done. But let's see if it'll zoom in on that at all.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, they should be able to see it too. Yeah. Holy man, that's straight up too. Yeah, you have to get right in close. So yeah.
Yeah, that was 197 feet of main and 123 feet of jib, and then by the time you factor in the height of the carrier, it gives you a tip height of 330.
330. Jeez.
So yeah, it's nerve wracking. And the thing that sucked about that is 2 days before that, we were setting in the middle part of that tower, and I had all 197 feet of main, and then 46 feet of no, it wasn't 46 feet. What was it? I had 246 feet of total tip height, and I got hit in the side with a 44-mile-an-hour side wind out of nowhere. It
Oh
was
my!
dead calm all day.
On that lift, you got hit with a 45.
Oh yeah,
Wow. And generally, when do you shut her down? How?
with jib on it, 15.9.
Yeah, yeah. See, even all towers is 35 kilometers as well, right? So 45 is that's. So how did that feel? You
It
felt it in the
sucked.
box, right?
Yeah, the end of the boom was pushed, or the end of the jib was pushed about 15 feet to the left, and then the 661-pound ball was about 20 feet out from underneath the tip of the jib,
Oh man,
and then
that's
the tip of the jib was making about a 15-foot diameter circle, and it was scary. And when I
yeah,
say scary, I wasn't panicking,
yep.
but I was doing everything I could to get my back to the wind and get it retracted. And then 2 days later, I had to put up the same amount of main boom with 123 feet of jib on it. And so the whole time in the back of your head, you're thinking, man, if that wind hits again, I'm
Yeah,
done.
because you're in a wide open field almost too, right? With the cell tower, it's almost a wide open area, so there's no.
Yeah, it was bad.
So yeah, Koneman was asking if you drove your mobile to site, or do you just operate it when it gets there?
I drive it,
Yeah,
and there's videos on my channel of it.
that.
I try to do that in every job that I go
Yep,
to do. Is that I preface the video with a little bit of talking a little bit about what we're going to do, and that's while I am driving to the site. So I have the camera
that's right.
generally placed in the lower left corner of the window on the carrier, driving down the highway.
Yeah, that's right. And make sure you guys check out his channel. The link is in the video description. I'm also linking it on my it's on my YouTube homepage as well under feature channels, right at the very top of the list. So make sure you guys check that out because yeah, I like that you do that. You're always giving sort of a description on your way to where you're going, right? Um,
And I try to be pretty descriptive while I'm doing stuff as long as I can be. And I've had I've had some feedback from people like, hey, why don't you tell us the entire time what's going on? And believe it or not, there are times in the crane when I have to stop and concentrate.
oh yeah.
So that's when I stop talking. So if you're watching any of my videos and you hear me just get really quiet for any length of time, you know at that point in time I'm doing something that's pretty stressful.
Yeah, man, that's you when you're operating with when you're working with a crane operator, you got to make sure that you recognize that you don't bug him when he's concentrating.
And I another question I get too is what's my priorities on the job site, because sometimes people get upset when I have to shut down for weather or whatever. um, my priorities, and any crane operator that knows what's going on, their priorities should be the same, but my priorities, number one, is the safety of everybody around the crane,
Hmm.
and then the safety of the crane is number two, because ultimately that plays into number one,
Yep.
and then my personal safety is number three. So if something was going south and I had to ditch the rig to save the crew, I would put myself in danger to ditch the rig before I put anybody else in danger on the ground.
Yeah, that's very that's huge responsibility. It's a big responsibility, and it's not to be taken lightly, right? Like it's serious stuff, and it's a very glamorous job. Sure, they're looking on the outside in, right? But you got to understand what these guys are going through. They're under a lot of pressure in that seat, right? And we got to make sure things go right for them.
It's definitely the most stressful job I've ever had. It's probably the
Hmm.
sitting in that crane making some of the picks is the most stress I've ever been under. And the reason being is because I understand what can actually go wrong.
Yep.
And the guys that are on the ground that I'm handling the load for are completely oblivious to, what if I'm sitting on a sinkhole and it blows out, or what if the wind comes out of nowhere and hits me with a 90-mile-an-hour wind gust? You know, what if the boom breaks in half? What if a weld's broken? Any of that stuff. And the guys on the ground are just like, hey, just move my stuff. Well, I get it.
Yeah. Right.
but they don't understand the whole picture. I look at weather. If is there lightning within 20 miles? Is there any storms nearby I could get an outflow wind gust from? What's the terrain look like? And then you got to top it off with who's not paying attention. Is the rigging correct? Do I have the required amount of counterweight? And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yep, that's right. There's when you're like doing it when you're doing a lift, there's a lot of different gear in play, right? Like your rigging gear, you're trusting your swamper or rigger to inspect that almost every time you're using it, almost, right? Doing a quick visual as you're setting it up or whatnot, and the operator's always looking to make sure they're rigging it right. And yeah, like some when a truckload of steel shows up, you don't have the weights just there in front of you. All you know what I mean. So sometimes you gotta pick it up a little bit, and right? I don't know. I think that's, if I remember right. Check. You can make sure you have the right counterweight and all that, and we do it.
And we're allowed to do that. I mean, according to the OSHA standard, we're allowed to try to pick a lift up to 75% of our capacity, like an unknown weight.
Yeah.
And if it goes beyond 75%, then we have to calculate it or get it engineered and find out how much it actually weighs. But we're allowed to go up to 75% of our capacity.
And
that does happen.
Yeah.
But one thing I've been getting on my channel a lot lately is people are watching my videos. And just like, for instance, you watched my last video where I was setting those bridge beams with that lee bear.
Yes.
Everybody's pointing out the fact that the contractor didn't have rebar caps on.
Are you serious? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've caught so much over other like when I go to a job site, we're a rented crane, so my job is to go pick up whatever they hired us to pick up. And so I had a video from a while back where I was working as an oiler for one of our other cranes because we had too many guys tied up. And this guy's like, hey, what about the guy on the roof without fall protection? What about the people that didn't have hard hats on? What about the person wearing shorts? Well, it was an HVAC contractor that was flying one unit off of a school.
Yes.
And it's a small mom and pop contractor. And this guy was blowing me up over these OSHA issues. And I'm like, dude, it's not my responsibility to go out to these job sites and babysit these people.
That's something I've like when I do a video, I make sure I have my gloves, my glasses, my hard hat, and even on sites that it's not required all the time, just for that reason, so I don't get harassed, right? Because it's
I don't care if they harass me. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's good example too, I suppose, but
it is.
Yeah.
And another thing people are blowing me up on is I know you've probably seen a lot of cranes where they have the danger barricades around the swing radius of the counterweights.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Almost all the time now.
So one guy was like, hey, how come you didn't have that up on your crane? I said, well, my counterweights are 9 feet off the ground. So if you were to walk in that area, you're not going to get hit by a counterweight.
And that's not a requirement. That's almost site-specific requirement, right?
Yes.
To have it. It's not an OSHA requirement. So it's just, you'll find out in orientation if you need that or not, right?
A lot of the stuff that people are accustomed to with PPE and whatnot is site specific. It's not necessarily a standard or a law.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. There are certain things like you have to wear them when you're doing certain tasks. But even then, I think the code is it's loosely written, right? Like the actual code itself, the legislation. But yes, the company's company rules policy is what trumps, is what rules there, and not every company makes you wear glasses 100% of the time or gloves or whatnot, right? Some guys make you wear it all.
People are just trying to pick my brain and see how much I actually know.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. Absolutely, yeah. I like to get. I'm getting some new people on the channel, younger kids just starting and a little bit nervous to start. And it's good to be nervous when you're starting construction. It is, because I think it's gonna help you be a little more safe, right? And you gotta, learn the rules, the safety rules first. That's what I always say. You know what I mean? Once you know the rules and procedures, then you can, you can do a little bit more and a little bit more, right? Um, but yeah, like feel out the guys. The biggest thing about construction is show up every day, right? And have a positive attitude. Be there on time, show up every day, and have a positive attitude. And
Show up every day clean.
yeah, right, clean and sober. Yeah, yep, absolutely, yes. And yeah, you will have a good career. That's for sure. You know, that's getting guys there every day is a hard. It's something hard to do up here. I don't know if it's the same down there, but
It is. I mean,
yeah,
it. I don't know. I would like to get more of the younger generation involved. Um, Sooner or later, we're going to run out of people to do this sort of work, and then where are we going to be? And I don't know what it's like in Canada, but down here, it's almost been deglorified.
yeah,
So back in the 20s and 30s, people really looked at tradespeople differently than what they do now, and people don't understand. It's been preached so many years. Hey, you got to go to college to earn a good living. You got to do this to earn a good living. You don't have to go to college to earn a good living, but you better know a skill. As long as you're useful to somebody, someone will pay you to do that.
yep. It's sad actually. That's something that we've been talking about a lot lately. Is how the trades have been deglorified, right? Like the lack of shop classes in a lot of high schools, and now with this so much legislation, you have to be 18 to work in construction now, right? Like there's just really no ends ifs or buts about it. Like there's certain rules and ways you can go around that, but they're very specific, and you basically need to have the actual what's the Secretary of Labor sign off on it, right? So it's hard, right? Your kids aren't working in the summers anymore, and how do you feel about that sort of stuff?
It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's a tragedy. What our high school counselors are doing to high school students is a tragedy because they're and I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I have a theory that some of the universities are pushing or really advocating for these college or high school counselors to be feeding this stuff to the kids. But um,
yep,
one of these days, those high school counselors' toilets are going to do this when they should do this, and who are they going to call?
right.
You know, they've forced everybody into universities and colleges, and that there's just some people that wouldn't fit in the college environment.
Um, yeah, that's right. Actually, I went to college, and like I was working trades to did I what did I do here? Oh, wrong button. So yeah, sorry. I went to college, but I was working in the trades. That was what got me through it, basically. And I was really lucky that I picked up a hammer really young, and when I finished college, and I was like, the wages were like what, like half of what I was making in construction. You know what I mean? So I just stuck with construction, and it's nice to have trades because as long as you're useful, you'll make money, right? And you got tools, you're useful, you can make money no matter what.
That's
So
one thing I've been drilling into my kids when they were younger. Is the big thing was read. So we always read to our kids and
yeah,
then made them read because I've always thought, and I still say this to this day, if you can read, you can teach yourself to do anything. The material's out there, you just got to find it.
that's
So
really good advice.
literacy is a big thing. And then now that my kids are older, especially with my son, he doesn't want to go to college, and I completely get that. But I told him, I said, if you're not going to college, you have to learn a skill. You
Hmm.
have to be a skilled person. You can't be uneducated and unskilled and make it. You have to be one or the other. You either have to be educated or skilled.
Yeah, and you know what? Educated is very competitive now. Okay, right? Like you have people with PhDs working, very entry level positions because it's so flooded. Whereas the trades is we're only at 40% capacity, right? Like
Yeah, there's a huge shortage of tradespeople. At least in
huge.
the United States, there is. I
Yeah.
could almost almost go into any job site and name my price.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. Having a it's nice having skill, that's for sure. Yeah, because you're always able to work, right? As long as you can walk, right, and use your body still, right? That's one of the things I've about construction too is guys who a lot of guys don't come out of it with in good health with issues from not necessarily injuries but just from all the hard labor for so many years and stuff, right? Like it's a tough gig. How do you feel about the automation side of things? Like does you like I know that sensors are would be an issue, right? Like we you need to have a lot of different types of sensors to run these run the software and things like that for automation, right? And
I enjoy the automation that's in the crane. Um, I don't think it'll ever be remotely controlled. And I've had people say, "Hey, what are you going to do when that crane's ran by someone from a different country?" If you take the human element out of a crane, I think you're going to have an issue.
yes,
Uh, just prime example is the crane that I operate is available with a radio remote, so you can operate that thing standing outside the machine. Well, you get no feedback from the machine, and there has been cranes turned over because the operator couldn't feel what the crane was doing. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to be much of an issue, but having all the different sensors on it gives me a lot of feedback on what is happening with the machine at the time. Especially in it sounds so minuscule, but I have load cells in each one of my outrigger cylinders, so I can tell how much weight is on each outrigger in the crane, and that is a huge help.
yeah, yeah.
If
That's
for no other reason, it gives you a little bit of comfort inside to know that all four outriggers are planted solidly on the ground.
I would love that in everything. Actually, yeah. Like I know when I'm on a scissor lift, even on all terrain, and my outriggers are down, and like you're always thinking, what if like is it hard enough? Is it like what if something in my happens like something, because we're close to the structure, and those grade beams were all open like that. It was all open at one point, right? So you're relying on like, man, is there enough compaction and everything? And it's just like I'd love to know what is on the outriggers, right? Especially when you're loading it with steel and drywall on one side, right?
Depending on what scissor lift you're running, you're only allowed 1,000 pounds anyway. Some of
That's
them are
right. Yeah,
1,500.
yeah, 1,000 pounds. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
That taps into my old field mechanic days back in the equipment rental company.
Yeah, you're allowed 1,000 pounds, and the when you have the extension out, you can have 500 pounds on that, but it's still 1,000 overall,
Yeah,
right? But you can only
evenly
have
distributed across the deck.
exactly yes, yeah, which
And
is
then also a little bit of tidbit of information that a lot of people don't know is most scissor lifts are rated for a 200-pound side load.
yes, yeah,
So if you're fully extended, say you're on a Skyjack 3219 drilling into a column off the side,
yep.
if you exert more than 200 pounds of force, you run the risk of turning it over.
You're absolutely right. They teach that in the OSHA courses, right? Which I take the OSHA courses. They're that you can get on an oil field with those classes, right? There's other lift and fall pro courses you can get, but they're not certified OSHA, right? And they don't teach that, but the OSHA course does. So, but yeah, it is freaky to think about because when you're um, lifting sheets, some sheets are really heavy just off the bat, or you got 100 pounds, and you're pushing on it with heavy gauge steel or whatever, drilling. It's a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I'd rather work out of a man basket on a crane.
Man, back like even a swing stage is better than a lift. Like I love working off swing stages.
Yeah, and people ask me like, why would you rather be in a man basket? And I said, well, that crane's rated for tons.
Yeah, yeah, it's safer. It is. The lifts are like if you once you really understand and get a grip on those like side loading it and how everything works, it is a little nerve wracking.
And I wish OSHA would rewrite the standard on man basket work for cranes because they've got it listed as an absolute last resort.
Yes, yes.
And realistically, there's places that you could put, say, 135-foot JLG or even their 150, but it's still safer to use a crane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't understand why they have it listed as last resort.
they, they this last. By the way, I before I forget, Boiled Nuts. Thank you again so much for the $5 donation. I'm not sure when it came in, but thank you so much. If you could see at the top donation, Boiled Nuts is there at $55 because he's been back to back, and it's gonna be a long time before somebody knocks him off the board there.
You
But
donated $55?
in total, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's impressive.
Very, 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 very helpful. Appreciate it very much. Boiled Nuts is a huge. He's been
I
around
hope you
since the beginning.
subscribe to my channel. Next live stream I do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I definitely have to check out Jimmy's streams because you talk about. There's other guys in operators too, or learning in your streams. I'm sure. I remember talking to some guys.
Yeah, I've had a lot of guys that. Actually, I've had some that just got into the trades, carpenter, electrician, whatever, just by watching some of my videos. And then I've had other newer operators that are kind of picking up some tips and stuff. And I try not to market my channel as an educational channel,
Right.
but I do some educational stuff on there. But more of it is just, hey, if I was going to do it a certain way, this is how I do it. That doesn't necessarily mean you should do it this way.
Yeah, yeah. So,
but I would be doing, like, this is the way I view things. If someone's up and coming in the industry, I would be doing myself a disservice by not passing on my craft.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And so this information was given to me by somebody, and for me to not pass that on to someone else it's wrong.
When I don't know if it was like this for you, but for me, starting in the trades, it was really hard to get information from the guys ahead of you because they didn't want to pass it because that was their money, right? The knowledge is their money, right? And they didn't want to pass it down very easily, and you had to really prove yourself for them to teach you things, information.
It's that way in our field.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way, and I don't understand it because a good crane operator's got nothing to worry about.
That's very true.
Some people look as, hey, I'm trading my replacement. What you're doing is you're funding your retirement.
Mm-hmm. That's
because if you don't have people coming into the trade paying into your retirement benefits in the local.
Yep.
So they don't look at it that way, but you're not a good crane operator doesn't have to worry about losing the seat to somebody.
Definitely not. We're not kidding, guys, when we say 40% capacity. That's where we're at. Like, there's a lot of room for jobs, and that's why they're racing to build robots, is because they don't have enough workers, right? Like, that's the reality of it. If we had more people in the trades, the need for automation and these robots and things like that wouldn't be as high.
I don't think robots will take over. I mean,
oh no, they're not going to take over.
A lot, and most of the time you see them in a lot of repetitive work.
That's right, exactly.
That causes workplace injury.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah, the repetitive stuff. That's it. Like, there's certain things you can automate, but like construction. Yeah, it's a lot of it is. I don't know. I know you can't think as fast as a human can. You can't. No, there's still no vision that's better than ours, really, when it comes to building things like that, right?
And the dexterity, and then also knowing the wrong from the right. So, I don't think you're going to see a construction site full of Terminators anytime soon.
No, definitely not. No, I would predict that is like 5 decades down the road, we're going to see something different stuff for sure, right? Like, there are going to be a lot of experimenting between now and then, and I think there'll be a bit of trial and error, right?
Although I did see a YouTube video of an automated bricklayer.
Yeah, the Hadrian X. That's right. Yeah, I just put out the video on.
Was that yours?
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah, my last video was my predictions for 5 top whatever new technologies that will be helping to automate construction, right? Drones and lidar and the 3D printing, but the actual medium itself was brick. Yeah, the Hadrian X is pretty sweet. But I had a fast brick robotics, right? Brick is the first one to be automated. There's also the Mule as well, which is a bricklayer, and even those guys, like the crew that works alongside those robots, they say like it does not take away our jobs. All it means having this machine here is we're getting out of this job sooner and onto another one. You know what I mean? Out of this job quicker and onto another job sooner. That's all that.
Well, really, on bricklaying, I think the precast industry is taking over the bricklaying industry faster than automation would.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, the precast on-site factories, right? They're doing like the LRT extension, and yeah, they just put up a tent or whatever, and they can build like they just do them right on site. It's amazing. Thank you, Paul Peck. Yeah, and yeah, Central
I've completely been ignoring comments, and I apologize to everybody. I've been just kind of engaged in the conversation, and
yeah. If I missed your comment, I do apologize, and it does help to tag us. That's for sure. You can tag to the top of the crane, and you can also tag myself. And but yeah, same here. I'm talking. It's hard to keep track of everything at once. That's for sure. But
well, and this is really the first time you and I have really spoken, other than through email and through comments and stuff. So, I apologize, everybody, if we get lost in conversation. It's kind of nice just to shoot the breeze with a fellow construction worker, someone that wears a hard hat every day.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, I guess this is our first time talking, just outside of the comments and things like that. But awesome to have you on the channel. Glad you were able to make it.
I appreciate you having me on it. I'm humbled, and I'm actually humbled by everybody that follows my channel. And some people probably think that I'm BSing when I say that, but it is truly humbling to have someone that wants to engage your content and your life like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the thumbs down trolls, right?
Thumbs down counts the same as the thumbs up.
Yeah, man, we've been debating that for, I think, back and forth for a couple days now. My research shows, like I went and did even further research because another creator has made me question it, but the research is inconclusive, honestly. What I find is YouTube doesn't admit or deny that they count, right? But if you read, like, Tubular Insights is a very credible source, and they say that dislikes will negatively affect your channel, but there's a lot of things going on here.
Still audience interaction.
It is interaction to a certain point, and then it might, depending on, so basically what happens if somebody thumbs down you, the likeliness of your video showing up in their recommended again is lower. That's it, basically.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and there's the theory that it will affect your rating to get into suggested video. There's a theory, but nothing proven really. There's been research, but they purposely do not talk about dislikes. It's it's hard to find out the actual. Hey, Scully's House of Thrillers, man, how's it going, bro? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I could totally drop the link in the chat too. I should have had that ready to go. I got the link here. I'll drop it. No problem. I made a short link too for it. It's in the description. But I'm going to drop it here too. Oh, I turned the music off because my computer was having issues with CPU usage. I actually finally pushed it to its limit.
You need to overclock that thing.
Maybe.
That is.
Yeah, right. No, I think that one day I'll get another one, but
I'm not a computer guy. I've got a friend that does IT for a company, and he's my computer go-to. And
nice.
If he says overclock it, I'll overclock it. If he says leave it alone, I'll leave it alone. If he says buy a new computer, I'm going shopping.
Yeah, right on. I just dropped Jimmy's link right there in the chat as well, guys, for you.
And actually, you're adding of in there, but it's actually just to the top. But
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
I can't. You're right. Oh man, that's okay. I could change that link too. That's
It's
too
all good.
funny.
I don't care.
Let me go right here. How did I not figure that out? My bad. My bad. I go right into here and I can fix that to the top of.
A buddy of mine actually named my channel. I didn't come up with it on my own, so.
To the top crane. Oh, I've always called your channel the to the top of the crane for some reason. So it's to the top crane.
To the top crane.
I gotcha. There we go.
I had never intended on doing this YouTube thing, and a friend of mine has a couple of YouTube accounts. One of them's G4 Outdoors. But he's like, dude, you got to take a camera with you to work and record some of that stuff. He said it would go over big. I'm like, who wants to watch a crane pick stuff up? And he just stayed on me, and finally I started a channel,
and how many subscribers do you have?
A year into it,
and you're over 6,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I'm almost at 6,500, I think.
Oh, 6,500. That's actually fantastic. In a year, that's that's really impressive. I actually relit everything up today, and my gels are falling through. Darn it! I'll have to fix them.
If you saw my little YouTube studio, I've got little. I guess they'd be lights for heat lamps for chickens.
Yeah.
On top of my monitor, with LED light bulbs in them on a dimmer, so I can actually see. I can actually dim them down. And I've got white pillowcases over them to act as a diffuser.
Yep.
And the back is just an LED strip that's about 40 feet long.
40 feet? Or 48 inches, 4 feet.
No, 40 feet.
Holy cow.
It wraps clear around the floor, up the wall on each side, across the ceiling.
Oh, cool.
And that way I can completely control the whole back wall. So if I want to make it red,
neat.
Make it green.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, on your stream actually. That's the one I've seen that too. Yeah. Actually, that's pretty handy. I got like mine's all different color on each one almost, but that's my old theater lighting days, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I've had some people say you should have your background dark like yours is. That way it makes you stand out. And then I've had other people say it depends on what you've got going on in the background. So
I never planned this at all. It just I went with the flow.
Looks good though. I like the way yours looks.
I finally got some pictures up on the walls today. Actually, these are all new. The actual one on the back wall, guys, belonged to Taylor, my brother-in-law, so Courtney's brother. That was his, belonged to him. I mean, he actually bought that with Courtney. The day that he bought that, she was with him. So that's up there. Always got a piece of him with us. He passed away last year, so.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. But no, it looks good though. Like the lighting looks really good.
I just caught comments. It looks like Boiled Nuts subscribed, so that's good.
Yeah, Boiled Nuts is a new subscriber, which is awesome. There was a question. So I'm a welder and iron worker. Oh, so Central Florida Prepper is a welder, an iron worker. So they work a lot with cranes. I know, and so you would have a lot of rigging experience, I'm sure. So Central Florida Prepper, do you guys have does the company you work for have a 30-ton or something like that, or do you work? How does that work? There's also something else I know I missed, but.
And Central Florida Prepper says, "Loves the flag in the backdrop, brother."
Yeah, that's right on.
I appreciate that, and I've had people ask me if I'm a veteran, and I'm not. But my brother was in the Air Force,
Yeah.
And I have huge respect for anybody that's willing to put themselves out for the rest of us.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we have
It
to.
doesn't matter what country you're from. I don't care if it's Canada,
Yep.
United States.
I agree. I agree. I definitely respect both. Like we're really close. I think um, it, politics haven't really gotten into the way of our relationship too much. I don't think. I think like your army's huge. Like you've always been the bigger brother, right? And yeah, it's a nice respect I think that we have for each other, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't drag politics into my channel
No.
because I keep politics and religion
Yep.
completely out.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube or a family reunion. If you bring up politics or religion, it's going to be a mess. I just leave it out.
Yeah, everybody has their own and everyone's allowed to have their own opinions and beliefs and things like that, right? It's
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I don't care what my neighbors are doing until it affects me.
Mm,
If my
that's right.
neighbors start affecting me, then we're going to have an issue. But until they affect me, I don't care what they're doing.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
It's just too bad. Every time you do talk about it, there's always the one in the crowd, right?
oh yeah, it never fails. Just like the same people that will analyze every one of my videos and look for a violation and call me out on it. I'm like, whatever. You know,
Yeah, that's the thing. That's when you're like trying to sell a product online, and it's a construction product. It's a really good idea to have everything in shot, up to full standards, right? Like everyone's wearing PPE and things like that. Like, would you lift a load over somebody without a hard hat on, or would you lift because I know sometimes you have to,
it
right?
just depends. I mean, realistically, if you're picking 100,000 pounds and flying it over somebody's head, is that hard hat really relevant?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, you're right.
So that's
It's
that's
more
kind of
like
the way
if there's anything left in the load itself, like a screw or something. That's kind of what I imagine.
yeah, and
But
I don't fly stuff over people unless it's absolutely necessary. Cell phone tower, you got three guys on the tower, they have no choice but to be there.
yeah,
But they're wearing helmets. I mean, they're almost wearing motorcycle helmets.
yeah,
It's strapped onto their head, and um, but you know, I guess I see some of that aspect, but also I look at it from the point of common sense. If we wrap everybody in bubble wrap, sure, it's going to protect them, but they can't do anything. You know,
yeah. That's that's true. That's true. I know when you're doing concrete. Like, do you fly a lot of concrete? Do you?
I do occasionally, but not with the big crane. Typically, it's
Yeah,
in one of our boom trucks.
yeah. Yeah.
And the bucket never goes over anybody. I won't fly a bucket over a person's head.
No, eh?
Bring it in waist level, and they can pull the release at that point. I won't fly it over their head.
Okay, okay. I was on a farm. We were the Perry system, Perry concrete form. So we were you have to climb them, right? And you have like this special hook like rigging that you use, and when you're at the top of the wall and you have to kind of grab the bucket and pull it in and lift the hopper thing up, right? Like the bar
Yeah,
and
the bail.
the bale, yeah, and yeah, actually, that was always done with a tower crane, so a little bit different, right? Um, yeah, that's kind of freaky when that bucket comes in over top of you, and
I won't fly it over somebody's head because
yeah,
just for the simple fact that what if something fails in that three-quarters of a yard of concrete falls out onto somebody? It doesn't
right,
matter. Even if they get a hard hat on, it's gonna probably take them out.
yeah,
Lester and Thompson, I just saw his name on here. He's one of the subscribers on my channel. Has been there for a long time.
which
Said he's the one in the crowd.
oh, there we go, yeah, right on, Lester and Thompson. Nice to see you, man. And Paul Peck too also is subscribed to your channel now too, which is awesome. He's a fellow. He's a taper. right? So he's in the same trade as I am, and I've been actually learning quite a bit because I'm a really crappy taper, and I feel a lot more confident now doing it, knowing watching his videos. I like how we share information. It's nice, right? Having this resource when I first started would have been nice, eh? Like for all of us, right?
What's crazy is I'm a crane operator, but I'm actually pretty good at mudding and taping.
Really?
When our basement flooded, I had to redo all of our basement, and I did a lot of mud and taping.
Yeah.
But that was for remodeling houses.
Yep.
My wife and I's first house was built in 1880.
Wow. 1880. So that's almost that is a historic house now.
It's not anymore.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, redone.
Oh no. I got tired of driving nails in it, so I collapsed it and burned it.
Oh, really?
It started off. It was a one-room house, and it had been added onto over the years. So there was places that the floor wasn't level, and doorways didn't line up, and I mean it was just a mess. It had a limestone block foundation under it, and
Wow.
we bought the house in, I think it was 3.5 acres for $30,000, which was what the land itself was worth. And I spent 6 months remodeling it. I got tired of driving nails in it. We were sitting in the living room one day and it started raining. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not driving another nail in this house. I'm going to tear it down. And so that's what we did. I tore it down, built a new house, and we lived there for about 12 years. And just sold it 2 years ago and moved into our new house.
That's nice.
So
Yeah, we actually we just bought our first house before Christmas, and so it's nice. I've been living in the concrete jungle though since I was in my late teens. So I got to do yard work and things now. Making
all the stuff that people used to do, you're like, oh, now I got to do that.
Oh, I wish my camera would focus, but it's not.
You look good on this end.
Yeah, I have the two webcams because one goes to the Zoom call, and then one goes to YouTube. That's how that works. Yeah, crazy, right? So
I've got one webcam up there. It's multifunction and doing whatever it's supposed to do.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Yeah, I'm all blurry on the screen.
Yeah, I've got a live stream coming up this weekend. Do you want to join in on it?
Sure. What is it? What day is it on? Is it tomorrow or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday? Yeah, absolutely. I do a live stream in the morning. It's at 9 a.m. till whatever, like 10 or whatever, 10, 11.
I typically do mine. Actually, I was on a really good schedule for a long time, and then I took kind of a hiatus from YouTube because people that don't create on YouTube don't understand. It is a second job.
Yeah, it is.
And so I took about a 3-week hiatus or whatever, and I really got off on my live stream scheduling. But I used to do them every other Sunday from 2 to 8, or from 6 to 8 Central Time. So if you're available 6 p.m. Central Time on Sunday,
yes,
I'll have you on my channel.
Sure, that'd be great. I'll definitely be there.
I'll use Google Hangouts, so if you're okay with that.
Absolutely. I have done that with a couple of guys. Michael Daniels does it on Google Hangouts. I'm trying to focus the camera. That's why I'm looking over to the side.
It looks really good on my end.
There we go. Now it's good. There we go. Oh, on you're watching the YouTube, so.
No, well, I'm watching both.
Both.
Yeah. Okay, so on the Zoom side, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's the C922. I really love that camera. I'm using a Brio now, and it's good because I can now stream in 60 frames per second, right? Which is good. I was streaming at 30 frames before, and I thought that was good, but apparently 60 is the way to go when you're broadcasting. So, but actually,
I record in 30 frames per second.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. Yeah, I even in 24, if I'm not moving a lot, like if I'm just doing like a talking head type video, I'll film in 24 frames.
Lester and Thompson said Jim is no good sometimes. I don't know what he meant by that, but
No,
okay.
Jim, I'm not. No, I'm
Oh,
no good
I'm no good.
sometimes. So
Oh,
is he
I
up
read
to
that.
no good or? But
I'll show you what I record with. This is my bug out box for heading to work. Oh,
oh
lid. Oh, just dropped the camera.
yeah. Oh wow, is that a matte box and everything, eh? Let me check.
It's a Pelican case.
A Pelican case, but with the is that like you have the matte box and everything with the barn doors there as well, or
What's that?
the kind of hooks onto your camera or whatever, and you could put different gels or what.
Oh no, this is a suction cup mount.
Ah, that's what it is. Oh, you use the GoPro.
Yeah, GoPro, and then
Nice.
I make my own magnet mounts. So that's one of my magnet mounts for my Hero 5 session.
Okay.
So occasionally I'll put a camera on the end of the crane boom pointing down. That way you get an aerial view without flying a drone. Because I've had people who are like, hey, why don't you get a drone? I'm like, well, how am I going to fly a drone and operate a crane at the same time? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of silly actually. Yeah. Hit it, yeah, gonna fly a drone and you have to hire somebody to follow you around all the time. That's what, like do it like Logan Paul does it, right? Have his buddies film him everywhere he goes.
If I had Logan Paul subscribers, I'd have my own crane.
Right? Yeah.
I have a crane just to fly my camera around to record me picking
Right?
stuff with my other crane.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, good night, Conaman Studio. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Yeah, I guess people kind of lose touch of what I'm actually doing when I'm recording video. Uh, my priority is to get the job done.
Yeah.
It's not to record footage. And I can't put footage ahead of taking care of the customer.
Hey, Sarah Love, how are you? Sorry, I missed you there. But yeah, it's like I got you there, girl. Yeah, I like when I'm at site, I strap the GoPro right to me. I'll strap it to my chest sometimes. I'll strap it to my hard hat sometimes, and rig it up somewhere. But it's kind of funny. Most of the guys around me know what I'm doing, though, right? So
I've got some footage. Actually, yesterday I was in a backhoe all day.
a backhoe.
I put a GoPro on my hard hat.
Oh yes.
I was just flat abusing this old 580 case backhoe that we have. When people watch it, they're gonna be like, "Man, I can't believe you're doing that to that machine."
Right on.
But I don't just operate cranes. So for those out there that are watching that wonder, hey, is this guy just a crane guy? I don't just operate cranes. Backhoes, skid loaders, dozers, excavators.
Really?
Yeah, motor graders, telehandlers. If it's got an engine in it, I can pretty much operate it
And repair it.
and repair it.
Yeah.
I
And
do all the maintenance on our big cranes.
yeah, really. So that
It
keeps
sucks sometimes, but yeah, I do it.
yeah, keeps you busy, I guess, too, right? Like on downtimes you could be in the shop, I guess, and winter. Oh,
Yeah,
you
and
can
it
get winter.
sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not for you, eh? You need to be in the action. Yeah.
Well, and spinning wrenches is hard on a guy.
Yeah.
People don't get it. I mean, you pick up a. Well, actually, I worked in a shop that we did a lot of undercarriage work and track work on dozers, and I worked as a mechanic. Did a lot of hydraulic cylinders, and we didn't have overhead cranes in it. You just manhandled stuff, and you pull the ball gear out of a D8 dozer that's 400 pounds. You're wrestling that thing around on the floor. I mean, it's work. It's hard on a guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, without overhead cranes.
Honestly, I would rather keep my tools in my garage at my house and work on my own stuff when I need to. And I could care less if I ever fix another machine again.
Yeah, right? Just your own. But that's not all you do. Oh, well, look what I did there. See what I did?
I don't know what you did.
There you go. I messed up the window. Hold up, guys. I'll fix that. Oh, you know what? I can't. I have to fix it while we're. Oh no, I can go to the studio.
Oh, yeah, you did really mess it up there, didn't you?
Yeah, I messed it up. Oh, it's
It's all
okay.
good.
I'll fix that up real quick here. Over here. I just resized the window. That's why, right? um. Come on here. There we go. But that's also too not all you did. One of the second last video was you were kind of on like a EMS almost type, or like you're on standby for
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a guy that climbed a communication tower. He climbed a 200-foot communication tower, and the local fire department couldn't get him down. Um, where we're located, we don't have a lot of high-rise structures. I think our biggest building maybe is 130 feet tall. And so the local fire department's biggest truck is about 130 feet tall. Well, they had called the local fire department and police department called our shop and requested that we be on standby in case we had to fly a basket up to get this guy off this old communication tower. And so we did end up having to fly him down. He climbed down on his own, but we were there in case they needed it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was anticipating what's the guy gonna do, right? Like, cause when he got down to the bottom, it was like, oh man, you know what? Like, how much energy does the guy have left, right?
He fell the last 10 feet, and I didn't get it on camera.
Oh right, yeah, right. But you did say something, I think, on the video itself, right?
Yeah, I think what had happened is he saw the law enforcement gathering around the bottom of the tower. I think he was going to jump and make a run for it.
Right. Yeah. Man, most accidents like that result in injury are from falls less than 10 feet, right?
Yep. That's why tapping into my EMS days, any fall over 3 feet is backboard and C-collar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. People don't realize that it's that easy, right? Like, one of the last jobs I was on, we were where were we? We were on the 20th floor, okay? And you know what a baker scaffolding is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're literally on the edge of the building, okay? And I'm like, guys, you got to do this every single floor all the way up. Why aren't you doing it from a swing stage? You know what I mean? You rig it up and you could just build it all the way up, move it all the way up. No problem. You're done. What they're doing here is they got two bakers scaffoldings without wheels, of course, but right on the very edge of this building. You're tied off and all, but PPE is supposed to be your last line of defense, right? Like, it's not there to, like it's crazy. It was just insane. Like, I'm like, guys, you gotta find someone else to do this task. It was the first time in my life I ever said no to doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty quick to say no if I need to.
Yeah. No, I've always been that guy who, if it needs to get done somehow or another, I'll do it. But I mean, nowadays I'm not so eager to do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm older. I got
kids,
family to think about, right? And yeah, so for the first time, I refused it, I'm like, dude, that's not safe. Like, there's so many better ways that you could do it than this, right? Like,
so Lester Thompson's on here. He said, "Make backhoes great again." Digging okay. Shameless plug for a good man. So, since he brought this up, Digging okay, and I'm gonna plug a channel on your channel.
Absolutely.
I apologize for that.
Nope.
Digging okay is he's a backhoe operator out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
The guy can dig footings more precisely than I can draw a line with a ruler.
Really?
It is unbelievable what he can do with a rubber tired backhoe.
Have I made you a mod on my channel? I wonder.
I don't know. You may try to comment and see.
Yeah, if you got a wrench there, I can't remember because you should. If not, well, I will. But I'll try to see if I can link that channel. So if I search the hashtag, it'll
Not
probably
a mod.
no. Okay, I'll make that happen. So if I search hashtag MBGA, might
No,
show up.
you probably just look up digging okay.
Digging. Oh, okay.
Or if you made Lester and Thompson a mod, he could probably find it. And Lester and Thompson's a good guy. You don't have to worry about him doing any crazy stuff. And
Oh, I think I have it. So it's digging okay, all one word.
yep, digging okay, all one word.
I got it. Little bucket, big money. Yeah, three
Frank,
point.
when it comes to a rubber tired backhoe, he is the stuff.
Oh, cool, man.
And he's just one of those down to earth, southern, great hospitality kind of guys. I mean,
This has to be it. Yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna definitely check out his channel.
oh yeah, he's a good dude.
Awesome. I love that. And you know what? That's the nice thing about keeping in touch with all the different trades and different. It's a good network to.
So what kind of stuff do you like, Chris? Do you like dirt work or do you like tool restoration? I mean, I can pass on some channel names to you that you'd probably enjoy.
I do. I love dirt work. Yeah, I do. I think my
Really
favorite thing to
Earthworks?
do is to do the dirt work, but to get like the piling done and the grade beams, if that makes sense. Like, right, concrete and dirt. I guess that would be like I love that stuff. If it wasn't such hard physical work, I'd love to do that full time. But
Elite Earthworks is a one-man band. He started off his career as a landscaper and transitioned into doing dirt work.
Elite
But
Earthworks.
he does a lot of residential stuff, and he'll take a
Yep.
yard that is just in complete disarray and make it grass seed ready in a day, and it's all on video.
Oh yeah, he's got a nice channel too. Yeah.
And Elite and I started about the same time.
Oh, nice.
Actually, we text each other quite a bit, but
Yeah, that's another channel. So there's two different channels there. The first one is the Digging
Digging
okay.
Okay.
And the second one is Elite Earthworks, and that's Elite Earthworks LLC.
that's him.
Yeah, right on. Running the what is those Takuchi?
Takeuchi.
Wow, I've never seen that brand before. But it's even like the T-Rex as well, right? T-Rex? I've never or Terex, sorry. I always call it T-Rex. I've never seen that before either. That just started showing up in North America itself.
I got to pause for just a quick second.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. You take it as I'll just switch over. There we go. Oh, right on, guys. So how you enjoying the stream? What an awesome discussion, though. I mean, it's this is the Friday nights where we're talking to the industry leaders here for anybody who wants to learn a little more, learn something new, or the people just starting out. We're here for you, give you tips, tricks, answer any questions you might have about the trades. It's starting construction can be a little you're gonna get nervous, before your first day, and it might take a week to shake that, but when you're first getting out, just get to site on time and get there every day at first, learn the safety rules, and away you go. You have a good start, right? Becoming a crane operator is. I also put a resource in the description. If I found online, if I can remember here, I'm just going back. Yeah, it was the WikiHow, become a tower crane operator. So not a mobile. I think it's a different. Actually, Jimmy could answer that. The difference between the road to being a tower crane operator and the road to being a mobile, maybe. But yeah, this is a resource, the WikiHow, as well as in the description. and it's a good resource because there's other links, right? There's links to the union and all my links. I always use the resources from the States. I don't use Canadian resources. I use the American ones because heck, only 6% of my audience is Canadian, so right? It just wouldn't make sense. Good to see you. Thanks for coming, guys. Boiled Nuts and Paul Peck Drywall Tube and Jim Arnold and Steffi Reynolds. Oh man, you snuck in on me there. Right on. How are you? How's back home doing? I'm excited to come back home this summer for a trip. There's also a YouTube meetup in Niagara Falls at some point. I think it's in September. So I'm just dying to get there. I would love to get there for that. I'm like guaranteed I'll go. I got the music back on because I closed a couple other things on the on my computer, so hopefully we can run the music now. But like I said, if the volume is too loud, you can't hear us, let me know, and I'll adjust the volume. But right on. Thank you so much, guys. The feedback is greatly appreciated.
I'm back.
All right, Jimmy's back, guys.
Sorry about that.
No worries, man. No worries.
It's the cost of raising a teenager.
Yeah, right. And that's not free.
Friday night, my wife's like, "Hey, what do you want our son to be able to go do?" And
yeah, feeding the teenagers. I remember when we were teenagers and how much food we ate, right? Like isn't that crazy to think about? And now we're paying the bill.
And how old's your oldest one, Chris?
12.
My oldest one's 18. My youngest one's 16. But the one piece of advice I could give any new parent, and you're not a new parent, you got but the parents have to work together. You have to be on the same page with discipline. You have to work together with everything that's going on in the kids' lives.
Yep.
And that will make everything so much easier.
Sure, yeah. It's not that easy sometimes too. Like,
no, it's not. It's trying as hell sometimes.
Yeah. Oh man, my son who's 12, like Courtney and I, my wife, we have 3 together. My son is my Courtney's his stepmom. So to have that dynamic mixed in with ours is challenging, right? Because it's like it's a mess. It's a mess. Well, I'm lucky. My son's a really good kid though. He doesn't give me too much problem. So if I tell him to do something, he'll do it. Whereas my girls who are 5 and 3, they're a handful.
That's to be expected.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just wait till they're teenagers. My 15-year-old daughter is camping with her best friend and their 2 boyfriends tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That's why my head looks like this.
Yeah, my grays are coming in. My grays. I turned 40 this year, and the grays are pouring in. Right.
Oh, I'd love to have grays. My hair is just going away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just shaving mine on purpose so I don't have to brush it.
I'll be 42 in July.
Oh, right on. So yeah, we were close. You're 77 then.
77.
Oh, Paul Peck Drywall Tube. Yeah, thank you for coming, man. And yeah, we'll talk some more on email too, buddy. I'd love to have you on the show one weekend. That'd be great. But yeah, I appreciate you coming, man. It was so cool. We'll see you on the next one, my man. And when you get your live streaming going, man, that'd be something too. That'd be really, really cool. Paul's got a pretty big channel. I think he's above 30,000 subscribers, I want to say.
30,000?
Yeah. He's been.
You want to be able to live stream now?
No, yeah, he just doesn't do it yet. So he's considering starting to go live. Right? He uploads videos, like how-to videos. I want to say instructional videos. That's more like it. And I'm gonna link his channel too. It's also on my homepage. He's also always been on my featured channel list on my homepage. He's always been there. He's there still. I'll paste his. Oh, yeah, I'll paste his channel as well.
One
He's
thing
at
I wish you-
he's at 54,000. 54,000.
The one thing I wish YouTube would do different is on our analytics, separate the live streams from the actual videos, because it actually brings our audience retention down.
Yep, that's I know, it's true. It is true. Like they do separate it now in the analytics in the new Studio Beta, like, but they don't separate it right through, like, in regards to the algorithm itself, right? Because yeah, you're right. The watch time, people come in and out, and like, I only keep certain ones live after, and but yeah, I just went and probably I probably put 50 videos to private just before the last weekend, because yeah, live streaming, just leaving the live stream replays up or whatever, and like, yeah, they'll hurt the retention rates, and you definitely hurt your growth for sure.
If I didn't have live streams on my channel, my audience retention would be about 50%.
Yeah, that's really good too, actually. Mine's I think mine's sitting at 40 maybe.
Mine's currently at 20% with live streams and everything, but realistically, I guess I don't really care, because I'm not doing this for the money.
No,
I'm doing it because I enjoy it. But
yeah,
it would be nice if they would break that data down and move live streams to their own column, their own section. That way you could actually keep track of, how long are people watching the live streams and how long are people watching your actual video.
You can go into the individual video analytics, and that'll tell you the average view time, and it'll give you the I want to say, there's different metrics like click-through rate and something else, I don't know, but anyways, it now with the new Studio Beta too, right? But I'm not so sure about the old one, but especially with the new Studio Beta, you can actually get individual video stats, which is neat.
I'm too lazy for that. I just rather have them put it in one block, and
that's awesome.
They've got IT people that are supposed to do that,
right? Oh yeah, there's a lot of, like, people are saying, like, it's hard to be authentic on YouTube because you're trying to please an algorithm, right? But YouTube tells you don't impress the algorithm, impress your viewers, right? So, and I'm with that. I totally agree with that. And
absolutely,
we really get wrapped up in the analytics sometimes, in the numbers, because it's just natural, right? You put work into something, you want to see a return on it, of some sort, right? You want your work to, you got to be really humbled or honest with yourself, right? And like I know myself, for example, like, I know my stuff is nowhere near where I want it to be, right? And I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm happy with my growth, because I feel that I'm right where I need to be, and I'm really how should I say, I'm picky, I guess, because we're used to work in the film and television business, right? So I kind of there's a certain quality level I'm trying to get to, right? But it's so hard to achieve. It takes time.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there.
A little bit every time. That's just it, right? Do what you can, and try to improve something, just something, every time, and you'll get there eventually, right?
That's with everything in life, really. I mean,
yep.
If you constantly strive to improve, you have no choice but to ultimately improve.
That's right.
You may have some pitfalls along the way, but as long as you don't let those pitfalls hang you up, you'll ultimately improve.
I'm trying to see if it told me what my watch is, but yeah, that's don't give up on yourself, right? Like, if you have a dream or something, and goals, don't give up on yourself. Keep trying. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn too, right? It's just that's why there's guys like Jimmy in the seat, right? Because his mistake, it could cost a life, right? And
we try to avoid those.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, right. So You don't just get handed the keys to a unit, right?
Yeah, and that's I've actually had a few run-ins with our own superintendents because the company I work for, we're a construction company and a crane rental company.
Mm-hmm.
So we do both. Occasionally, we'll put our own cranes on our own jobs, and our own superintendents will be mad about shutting down for whatever, and it turns into a great big, I hate to say pissing match, but that's what it is. I mean,
Yep.
and it turns into the superintendent against me. Well, for example, just last year I had to shut down man basket work because the winds were over 20 miles an hour.
Yep.
The superintendent physically, I think, wanted to fist fight me over it.
What? Yeah. Oh no. No way.
And I'm like, hey, call the owner of the company. You know, it's
Yeah.
my responsibility to make sure that everybody goes home to their family safe. It's his responsibility to get the job done, and
Yep.
I get that. But my responsibility ultimately is to make sure everybody goes home.
That's right. Yep. His priority should be to get the guys home too. It should be, right? Like,
It should be.
I never understood that. Like, you guys, like, we have professionals for a reason. You hire them for a reason, and that's for their expertise, right? So when somebody's shutting down, right, there's a reason for it, right? Like, why take that risk? It never made sense to me, right?
Well, and our owner, I had a discussion with him about it the following day, and he told me, he said, Jimmy, there's a reason why you're in $1 million crane.
Yeah.
He said, it's because I trust you with the decisions that have to be made. So make those decisions, stand behind it, and if you need to call me, call me.
$1 million crane, right? Like, yours is it's a big boy, eh? Like,
We paid $1 million for it used.
$1 million used. Wow. Wow. That's amazing, actually. Wow.
Yeah, there's been many times I've been on a job I thought about just selling it and run away with the money.
Right?
Like, hey, this is for sale. I'm gonna take my new Ferrari to Mexico.
Right? Oh man, that's funny. Oh
Yeah,
man.
we did a job up in Omaha not too long ago, and it was with all the flooding and everything we've had in the area. Our permitted route took us 8 hours. And halfway through that trip, I was thinking, man, I could just pull over and sell this thing, jump in a new Lamborghini, and drive south.
I've had enough. I'm out of here, right? Like, that's enough. That's a see the responsibility though, right? Like, yeah, there's no amount of money you can put on a life, but that's also that's a big piece of a machinery, you know, and it's not cheap, right? So the
There's
level.
$100,000 worth of computers behind my back when I'm sitting in the seat. It's ridiculous. If you break everything down by part, it is astronomical how much it costs. It just there's $40,000 worth of tires on it.
Oh wow. Yeah, always make sure you research how much new tires cost on the car or truck before you buy it.
Yeah. So to break that down for what is that like 55,000 Canadian?
Yeah, it would be. Yep, easy. I think we're about 30% right now, so I can convert that real quick too. But even $1 million, like, let's go there. Even one.
We actually bought it from Canada.
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know who the contractor was that used to own it, but we bought it from Canada. Some poor guy had to drive that thing all the way down here at 53 miles an hour.
At 53. Oh wow, yeah, right. Because that. So
53 on flat ground.
do you have like spotter cars like in the front and the back?
Nope.
No, just oh wow, right? Because people would be you're on a 2-lane road. It might be a while to pass sometimes, right?
It's we've got one truck that follows it with counterweight, but that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
to give you the specs on it, going down the highway, it's 150,000 pounds. It's 85 feet long. outside to outside of the mirrors is about 12.5 feet, and it's 13.6 tall.
Wow, eh? That's yeah, that's how long again? Sorry,
85 feet.
feet. Wow, wow, and $1 million Canadian is 1,000,003.
Yeah.
So it would be 1.3 million, and then 40,000 is 53,000 here. Yeah, so pretty close. Can you imagine?
That was from the hip.
Gotta take out a loan, give this thing an oil change.
Yeah.
But
It's got 10 tires on it that are about 4,000 apiece.
oh man, do you ever have you ever used those like their uh I don't know, they got a whole bunch of wheels too, and they just roll under, and like they're hydraulic type lifts.
Oh, the Goldhofer trailers.
Yeah, is that what they are? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually had to use one. I've seen them. I've seen them in person, but I haven't actually had to use one.
Yeah, I've never. I saw them recently, but I've never seen them before. They're pretty neat.
Yeah, they're computer controlled,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually synced together hydraulically, so they can level a load. They can steer. Each one of the spindles can steer independently. So
Yes.
and they're modular, so you can connect six
Yes.
or 10 of them together, and they'll all communicate with one another and work as one unit.
Yeah. 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 That's right. That's exactly the one I'm talking about. Yeah. They can even spin like in a circle type thing right on spot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not following Mammut,
Yeah. Mammut. That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Mammut. Yeah. You have to follow Mammut, Live Hair, and all these guys on YouTube. Does Titano? Did Titano have a channel?
they do, but they don't do much with it.
No. Okay. Okay.
I think I'm their one and only outlet for Tadano in North America.
Yeah.
So they probably ought to do more with my channel.
Yeah. They
Just
should.
saying.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No doubt. There's a lot of opportunity on social media, YouTube, and I think that companies are just, if they haven't realized it yet, they will sooner or later. They'll have to, right? It's the way that things are going, right?
I can't say that though. Tadano sent me some. They sent me a care package a while back. Actually,
Nice.
The Midwest sales rep for Tadano, he sent me hats and the GR1000, my diecast crane back there, and some other stuff. So
Nice.
they're they're hooking me up.
That's actually really nice. Yeah. I mean I do a lot of Hilti reviews, and I spent, I don't know, easily, I would say about $7,000 there last year, and I didn't even get a hat or a shirt.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Hilti didn't send you a hat or a shirt?
No, nothing, man. I'm like, a sticker? I think
You're barking up the wrong tree. Then you need to get on Twitter and call them out on that.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's the thing too. Like I do talk to them on Twitter, right? And like I'll take pictures of all my Hilti tools, and they'll use my pictures, they'll retweet and things like that. And so they're aware of me, right? But yeah, I don't getting a whole
Your
bunch
phone is blowing up.
right. That's like some that happens when Discord gets lit up, right? I would just mute it there.
Well,
Yeah.
you will get some recognition from Hilti, I guarantee it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I have. I still have more actual reviews to come. I got some stuff I actually haven't reviewed yet. So, and then of course there's other stuff I'm gonna buy as well. I've been using them for. Oh God, like they're my brand. Like everything I own is Hilti, right? Like,
Just wait, you'll be getting emails from people wanting you to review their LED lights and all kinds of stuff.
right? Hey. Yeah, I got in a couple of emails, but it didn't sound like something I was interested in. You know what I mean? Like, not yet, anyways. I guess, but yeah, it'll be fun. So you get some. I know even Wheelroad too. He got sent lasers, right? He got sent lasers to test out. He had like 200 subscribers, 300 subscribers. Crazy, eh?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I actually had a company send me some LED lights, and I'll probably throw a review video up at some point. But I don't want my channel to be about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I like to keep it relevant, right? Like I know for myself, if it's not construction related, then that's that's the niche, right? Like, what's the point in me doing a review for lights, I guess, or microphones or anything like that? You can come to my channel. I'll tell you what type I'm using, and you can hear for yourself, right? But that's about it. That's the extent I'm gonna take it. I love the live streaming thing. I wish I could do it more, right? Like, it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like you're gonna do it once a week.
Yeah, actually, I do. I'm gonna try to do this once a week, and I do have a Sunday morning show I've been doing for almost a full year straight now. Actually, it's Sunday mornings at well, it's 9 a.m. now, Mountain Standard Time, my time, and it's I would say what did I do? I called it. I just redid my about page on my channel, and I published a schedule, and it's the schedule that I'm gonna likely try. Like, I'm gonna try to follow it the best I can. It's a little heavy. It's 2 uploads a week, 2 live streams a week, but it classifies the different types of content I do, and if I have that content, I'll put it out on that certain date, right? So if, I'm not gonna like nail myself to a cross if I can't make it, right? So, but if I was to keep, like, I started YouTube to try to do this as a professional, try to do it professionally. Like, I came into it with every intention in monetizing and trying to grow a business, so I can work from home and take care of the kids more and housework more, right? And work from home, because my wife does have a really good job. She does a better job than I do. And with my physical injuries, it would be good if I was able to step back from construction, right? And then I want to teach it though, right? I want to be able to teach people what I know. Like, you know, I just, yeah. Steffi Reynolds, yeah, it's late for you guys, so you have a good night. Yeah, we're almost going on 2 hours. Thank you for coming, Steffi. Yeah, it does, right?
Lester Thompson's been in here for at least over half of it.
Yeah, Lester Thompson. Lester and Thompson. I got it. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I think he was on my channel, and he'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing right around the 400 subscriber mark.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's like same with Boiled Nuts, who's in the chat right now. He's been with me. Like, I mean, I know I'm only at 1100, but like right from the beginning, right from the start, yeah. Which is,
and just like Lester he just popped up. He said, "Jimmy will keep it true, guaranteed." And that's one of the things that I want to keep on my channel, is just like the violations and stuff people have said they've seen. I'm not going to say that they've seen them.
Yeah.
But just like people have alleged they've seen, I'm not going to edit that stuff out, because at that point it's not real.
That's true. Yep. Yeah. When I'm working in I'm gonna be doing videos from the garage, right? And I'll be doing certain work around here. I'm gonna wear my PPE when it's appropriate, right? I'm not gonna have it on all the time. But when I'm out on site, I definitely follow the rules of the site. But I do put a full PPE on, just as it's just a better, because of what I'm doing, right? I'm using shotguns and doing drills, and I'm right there taking grenades, right? So to set a good example, I guess, and show the younger guys it's not it's not hard to wear your PPE and do your work, right?
No, and it's not hard to wear it.
No.
But PPE, like, some of the stuff people are calling me out on is beyond PPE, but it is what it is. But for me, it's always 70 and sunny in the crane cab. But this is still what I wear to work. High vis.
Yeah.
Typically a hard hat, but that's job site specific.
Yeah.
If I don't have to wear a hard hat on the job site, I ain't wearing it.
Yep. Yeah, well, especially when you're in the cab, you don't even have to wear it, right? Like if it's only when you're out walking around the site anyway, right?
Oh no, it depends on the site.
Okay, okay. So
Like
some sites you have
for
to wear it.
example, before I ever got into the crane world, I was on a wind farm, and I was in a telehandler, and the safety guy came up to me and he looked at my cab and he said, "Where's your steel-toed boots?"
Yep.
I said, "I don't have them on." He said, "Well, why not?" I said, "There's nothing underneath this cab that's heavy enough that's going to smash my toes. So there's no reason for me to wear steel-toed boots." I mean, I was in that cab literally 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
There was no reason for me to have steel-toed boots on.
Yep. Yep. That's how long ago was that there? That's
2010.
2010. Because I found too. Yeah, this it's really from 2005 and six. I would say is when it really started changing. Like, um, guys were just getting like the big companies are just like, yeah, you have to wear gloves, glasses, high vis when you're even doing T-bar inside, right? Like steel toe boots. Are you kidding me, right? Hard hat and glasses, gloves, high vest, everything on, when you're, hanging T-bar. It's just ridiculous, man. But,
I
yeah.
still get that to this day though. Like
Yeah.
I'll throw my hard hat on the hook in the back of the cab in the crane. Like, why don't you have your hard hat on? I'm like, dude, if I need my hard hat, there's bigger problems going on than what
Yeah.
you can handle.
Yeah, man. Crane, so, like, I would never worry about an operator because they are going to be the safest guys on site. There's just no question. Like,
Don't sell yourself on that though, Chris.
no. Well, I know what you're saying, I guess, but maybe you want to elaborate more because I would expect them to be right. Like,
Especially with the advent of the OSHA requirement for crane certification,
yeah,
there's a lot of places out there that are running people through. Hey, you can get your crane certs in 2 days, or you can get them in a week, whatever. And so, with that being said, there's going to be a huge influx of operators going into the crane world that don't have real world experience. And honestly, I think it's going to create a situation that's going to be bad. I think it's going to be unsafe for a while.
yeah.
Ultimately, it's going to make things safer, but for a while, I think it's going to be unsafe.
This guy, so Lothar 900. I'm a master stonemason. Went to school in Germany for 5 years, and I got a ticket for $900 for not having the right safety boots. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, you got a fine. I thought he was saying he got a ticket. He paid somebody 900 to get to get a ticket, right? So because we were kind of talking about that influx of guys, right? How do you like what do you do? Like how you have to like what does a worker do when they're around an operator like that? Like how do you? What are the signs?
Refuse it.
Yeah.
Refuse the work. I mean,
Yep.
being on the outside looking in, if I was in your position, and I'm not, I'm an operator.
Yep.
But if I was, and there was an operator that was erratic or typically unsafe, just refuse to work around them. Refuse to work under them, around them. If their crane is on the site, just refuse to work.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, your responsibility is to go home at the end of the day.
It is. Yeah, everybody remember that. Like that's you want to go home at the end of the day.
So if there's a guy on site that is acting in a manner that, say there's other cranes on site, he's getting too close to the other cranes, or he's
Yeah.
constantly flying stuff over people, or swinging uncontrollably, can't control the load, can't control the hook, just refuse to work around them. I mean, that's all you can do.
Yep. That's and a lot of guys, most people, I would say, are afraid to refuse work. And I'll tell you, man, like you have to, more people have to start refusing. Because yeah, like the foreman is not. He's not there or she's not there to like they want to get more done so they look good, right? They don't want you coming to them and refusing work. They're gonna try to talk they're gonna give you weird looks. They're gonna, most guys are gonna give you weird looks. They're gonna, but it shouldn't be that way, right? But it's
It
the way it
shouldn't.
is right
I
now.
mean, it really shouldn't.
Yep. Yep.
I don't understand that mentality, and people are job scared, and I get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially coming in North America, coming out of a recession and all
Yep.
that, people are job scared. But it
Sweet.
didn't matter to me if my job was the last job to be had on Earth. If there was a possibility of me dying and not going home to my wife and kids, I'd, you know, I'd walk away from that job in a second.
Yeah. Odama in New York. Sorry, yeah, I've got a new subscriber. Oh, it looks like my alerts is below. I gotta put my alerts up, but that's why I missed it last time.
I don't know how you do that whole thing with the scrolling thing at the bottom and the YouTube thing and that.
Yeah, this is actually so it's just normal text, but you apply a filter to it. It's a scrolling filter, and they're all preset in Streamlabs. So you just, when you add the text, you go to the properties, or sorry, you right click it in sources, and you can add a filter, and it's what's called a scrolling filter, and that's how that works. Yeah. But yeah, anytime, man, you have questions about the Streamlabs or anything like that, I'll gladly help you out, man.
Yeah, I don't understand that. You got top donation, latest donation,
Yep,
your channel name,
yep, yep,
latest subscriber,
yeah. We just
sub
got it.
count. How do you do all that? I don't get it.
So this you it sorry, there are widgets that are inside of Streamlabs that you can add, and they'll automatically read your information from YouTube when you share your stream key with the software, right? So if I have Streamlabs open and I'm not streaming, it'll still show me if somebody subscribes, right? It'll still show me if somebody donates or whatever, right? Even if I'm not streaming. It's pretty cool. But so they're just plugins. Like if you go into like if you do you use OBS or Streamlabs?
I don't use any of that.
Oh, okay, you go straight
Google
live.
Hangout straight off of YouTube.
Okay, I got you. I got you. That's if you were to mess around a bit with OBS and Streamlabs, I would recommend going straight to Streamlabs. But you'll figure it out. It's there's just different. You can even get templates and stuff, right? The bar above was a template I customized a long time ago, and I just kept kind of evolving it, right? So, but yeah, that's kind of
I
neat.
have to play with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's actually easier than it looks, I think. You mean the ticket for the union? Yeah, that's laughable. Yeah, right. Yeah, so an issue with labor and safety, I think, coming up, because there's also a lot of foreign work coming in too, and they don't have the same safety standards as we do where they're from. That's what I've been noticing, right? So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff with the shortage. Like I was saying, we're not nearly half full at half capacity as it is, right? So companies are desperate, and they'll almost hire anyone. So you gotta be really careful and safe out there. Because
I've got a few subscribers from the Middle East,
yeah,
and you want to talk about unsafe crane stuff?
yeah, yeah, I bet.
It is unreal some of the stuff they'll do with a crane over there in the Middle East.
I could imagine actually with the stuff like they build in Dubai and things like man, they're crazy hot tall buildings and things like that, right? Like, but yeah.
I don't think it's so much Dubai. I think it's just like
Oh sure, yeah, just
the
anywhere.
Middle East, like the desert. It's like, hey, I'm in the desert. There's nothing that's going to happen to me, and it's unreal. And part of the reason why I wanted to start my channel is there's so many videos out there on YouTube of crane accidents.
Yep.
I want to be able to show cranes in a light that were accident free. What can you actually do with a crane and actually get work done without killing anybody and without breaking the machine in half?
Yeah, I like that actually because people want to look at, hey, Tokyo Drew in the house. Hey, buddy, how are you, man? Nice to see you. Tokyo Drew is obviously he's in Japan, right? So he's got a really good channel too. But yeah, so Kuwait. Who we had some guy from Kuwait too, who was in Turkey and different places, right? Like the standards are definitely different, right? Like
Standards. What are your standards?
right? Oh man, what was that? I had a question I was gonna ask, but now I forget. Darn it. Oh man.
If you happen to cross it, let me know. I'll answer it.
Right on. Right on.
I mean, that's one thing I do on my live streams. I'm an open book. If someone's got a question, I'll answer it. I mean,
Oh,
it
right.
is what
That's
it
right.
is.
That's right. Talking about the showing the crane operating in a different light. Because you're right. Yeah, they people come to YouTube to find fails and to think they're kind of funny and stuff, right? But if you work by a crane, they're not that funny. You know what I mean? Like I don't find them funny at all. Actually, myself, I find it terrifying to see a crane go over, right?
Oh, it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, it's scary stuff.
And like when I did that breakdown, I did a live stream. It's been about a month ago when AVE, which is a channel that has over 1 million subscribers. The guy, are you familiar with him at all? He's a Canadian, fellow Canadian.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of machining and mechanical engineering kind of stuff, whatever. But he did his synopsis of the Seattle crane accident.
Oh man.
The tower crane that went over.
Yeah, that was awful. Yeah.
And it generated a lot of questions. So I did a live stream in rebuttal to his video that he did. And I mean, it was just blown up with people that were nonchalantly talking about these crane accidents. And I've actually had people ask me, they're like, hey, why don't you talk about some of these crane accidents and what happened to them? What mistakes were made. And I don't like doing it. And the reason why I don't, and I got teary eyed talking about AVE's video because 3 people died on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like Big Blue that happened in, where was that? I don't even remember where that happened. But people died in that accident, and I don't take that lightly. So I don't really like talking about it. I would rather let people rest in peace.
Yeah.
And let those things fade off in the distance. But I also get the aspect that people want to know what happened so they can prevent future accidents. And the way you prevent future accidents is be smart with your work.
Yeah, be smart. That's right. Yeah. Watch out for one another. Keep straight. Don't show up hungover or still high. Like
the biggest thing too is be able to tell somebody no.
Yeah, and yeah, man. More people have to say no. They really do. The biggest problem in construction is there's not enough inspections being done, and there's not enough inspectors. You know what I mean? So we all have a big huge task there. We got to watch out for each other because there's not a. I can't say there's nobody watching out for us, but because there's very few people watching out for us, right?
Well, and in light of everything, and I may approach it differently than others do, but we are our brothers and sisters keepers.
Yep.
If we see something that's wrong, that's gonna injure somebody or maim them or make them perish, it's our responsibility to bring that to their attention. I mean,
yep.
We are their last line of defense. Sometimes people don't see things the same as other people do, and we are their last line of defense.
That's right. Have you ever been in any type of incident like operating? Have you whether you're as an operator or just around the machines, have you ever even seen it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've shut jobs down because of wind.
Yeah.
I've stopped people from working because of asbestos. I
Yeah, that's a big
mean,
one too. Yeah.
it's yeah, I pulled into a job site one day. There was two guys cutting asbestos with a metabo. You know what a metabo is.
Yep. I do. Yeah.
They were trimming the bottom of asbestos off with metabo.
Oh, frick.
No water, no respirator, no nothing. And I'm like, you cannot do this.
Yeah.
You guys will die if you do this. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And just and shut it down. It wasn't one of our jobs, but I mean, it doesn't matter if it's our contractor or someone else's contractor. As a human being, it's my responsibility to convey to these people, if you continue to do this, you're going to die.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Very unsafe.
People need to understand that, and that's probably my biggest pet peeve sitting in the seat is seeing people do things, because I get a big perspective of the job site.
Yeah.
You know, I'm swinging around doing whatever, but when I'm sitting in the seat, if there's 300 people on that job site, I'm probably going to see all 300 of them at some point, because I'm in my mind, I'm keeping track of where everybody is. Because if for some reason I have to ditch the crane, or if something starts falling or going south or whatever, I need to know where everybody's at so I can take those actions in a safe way that's not going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So I see the job site in a bigger perspective, and if I see someone doing something that is way out of line, I'm probably going to call them out on it.
And I agree. I would as well. I do. I know, and you know, we're veterans now, I guess, right? We're not noobs, so right.
Unfortunately, that means we're old.
Yeah, right. Older, I guess. Yeah, Jim Arnold, thank you very much for the $5 donation. I very, very appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. I'm what an awesome stream though, man. Because this is you know, when you're talking about crane operating, you're talking safety, right? Like that's, you know, it's just it's more important, you know, than we give it credit for. I think like it's still not like, you know how it is, right, guys? Get to site and you got one guy doing the FL, you know, the hazard assessment, right? And all the other guys just come, sign quickly, that's it, right? Don't even read it, nothing. Just sign off. And
it happens every time.
Right? Every single day.
There's always one guy who runs in, he's like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah. I refuse. I write my own hazard assessment every day. And if the foreman I'm working for has a problem with that, I don't want to work for that guy. You know, I'm sorry. I you know, if he has a problem with me filling out my hazard assessment, because it's law, right, too, then he's not the kind of guy I want to work for, right? So, you know, like, you know, oh man, it takes too much time. You got, you know, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I'd rather take the time now and then be dead later, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as too much time.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, I know in different industries, like in the commercial, it's awful, right? Like they're just so rush. And in industrial, it's pretty good that way. Everyone's always take it slow, you know, do your assessments, do your inspections, everything like that, right? And Lester, oh gosh, Lester Thompson, I'm so sorry, man. Yeah, have a great night. Thank you for coming. He's saying good night, Jimmy. I'll catch you on the next one as well. And yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Teacher Dee, how are you? Nice to see you. Right on. I've only ever seen a couple of things like when it regards to cranes. We were really safe and lucky, I guess. There's that one time we were working nights and the guy fell asleep in the tower crane, and there was a load. Like, how do you fall asleep in the middle of a load, right? Like, the guy was already kind of like, he was there at night for a reason, because he was a guy who would lift anything, right? And but that was his last lift that I heard of, anyways. You know, but yeah, he fell asleep.
I can't say I've never slept in a crane, but I've never slept in a crane with a load on the hook.
Yeah, right, when you're in the middle of a load, like, how does that happen? Like, that's dangerous.
It shouldn't happen.
No.
I mean, there are times that you can get out of the seat, when there's load on the hook, but to fall asleep
Yeah.
with load on the hook, that's not acceptable.
Okay, so this is the specific circumstance. Okay, so we had the chains wrapped around a column because we were cutting it, and that's what happened when the column it broke free, and I think maybe he must have been sleeping while we were cutting it, right? That's what happened. So when it broke free, it must have hit the joystick, jolted him or something, right? And it ended up spinning around. Not say.
That's comforting.
Yeah, yeah. And then never cross your lines of communication, right? Always get up front who's communicating with who up front. You know, like you got flight people, if you have a signaler, right, a rigger who's signaling you or whatever, make sure that line of communication is clearly, you guys have that up front and don't break it ever. That's the only time I've seen bad things happen is when that line of communication breaks down, you know.
That was one of the things I caught some flack for in my latest video was when myself and that other crane operator and that lee bear were setting those bridge beams. We didn't have communication between each other. There was no radios. There was no. We had
Oh,
one signal
yeah,
person,
yeah,
but realistically, in a pick, and we had discussed this in a pre-pick meeting
of course,
that
yeah.
myself and the other crane operator had. But he has, I think he's about 6 months from retiring.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's how much time he's got in the seat.
Wow.
And we'd already discussed it. He was going to follow my lead until we got to a certain point, and I was going to follow his lead. And if people are familiar with cranes, they have free swing on them. So what that means is that crane is available to swing 360 degrees without any operator input. So if I have a load hanging like down here on the bottom of the hook and it starts pushing me, it's going to swing me around. So both cranes have that on them. As I was picking the piece and pulling it around towards me, he was in free swing, so it was pulling him around. And then once I got to a certain point, then I was in free swing and he was pushing me.
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody's like, "Well, why weren't the two operators talking?" You don't
You know,
necessarily
yeah,
have to at that point. It's a
yeah.
mutual respect and knowledge between the two of us that says, "Hey, this is how it's going to go. We're going to watch the load, and as long as the load's acting the way we want it to, there's no reason for he and I to communicate."
That's and you know what? There's also no dumb question, right? Too, like it might, yeah, might be people calling out too, but in reality too, there is no real such thing as a dumb question, I guess.
There's not.
Not in construction, right? It's good that people are having an eye on this stuff, but don't argue don't argue the expert though, right? That's if you have a question, you learn something, right? But this, who's Lothar 900 is saying the worst is a guy who knows everything and he doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there's always one in the crowd as well, right? There's no shortage of that.
No, and realistically, if you know everything, you have no place in a crane.
Yeah, yeah, right. There's no way nobody knows everything. Yep, that's
There's a reason why crane cabs are so small.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
only room for the operator, some information, a little bit of knowledge, but there's no room for ego.
yep. That's a that's an old operator saying. I'm sure I heard that before from an old timer.
Yeah,
That's
because
good
as soon
philosophy.
as you think you know everything, at that point you better retire
Yeah,
because you're either going to get yourself or someone else hurt.
yeah. I've heard you say that on your streams. Is what I've heard, or I've heard it before. Yeah, but very true, man. The egos are not for the construction site. Sorry, in any capacity, in my opinion.
Well,
Um,
the worst thing that was invented was that cowboy hard hat.
ha! Oh, what the heck is that? Eh? I know. We see them around up here too.
Oh dear God!
Yeah. They banned them on the big sites though. They did. Yeah. They banned them. But you'll see an electrician with one on once in a while.
When I see one of those, that just instantly tells me that is someone that obviously thinks they know more than what they do, and I don't want to work around them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to work around a cowboy. Someone that's going to push it to the limit. Someone that's going to
Yep.
take it beyond what things are capable of. I mean, okay, I can't. I got to back up a little bit.
Yep.
I will push that Tadano 100% to its capacity, but it's engineered to do that. And as long as I know everything is 100% the way it's supposed to be, I will take it to 100% its capacity. But to take it beyond that, that's when you get the cowboy hard hat.
Yeah, that's funny. Lester Thompson. There's no dumb questions, just dumb people who don't ask questions. That's true. Yeah. Oh man, and that's the thing too. Like if somebody gives you a hard time for asking a question, like you gotta really assess who you're working for, man. Like, um, don't let don't let them push you around, right? Like you got to be safe, and they're always going to be somebody rushing you, right? There's always, know your limits, right? Do what you can, and if it's not good enough, then maybe you're not in the right position, or not, you got some more to learn, something, or it could be management too, right? There's a lot of factors, but
Well, in my profession too, it's not so much know your limits, but know the limits of the machine.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, the
Because
machines,
sometimes one supersedes the other. So
yep.
I've actually been on job sites where the machine was capable of more than what the operator was, but the operator was willing to say, "Hey, I'm not comfortable doing this," and that's perfectly fine. I would rather them do that
Yep.
than push themselves to the point that they can't control the machine. And I've also been on job sites where the machine was not nearly as capable as the operator thought. And fortunately, it didn't end badly, but it could have.
Yeah, it's that's a really really good point. Know the equipment. Don't like just the thing you hear every day. Don't take your guards off your machines or your saws and things like that. You know what I mean? Like don't don't put a 5-inch disc on a 4-inch grinder. Like
Well, doesn't it have more speed, like more inches per minute?
yeah, right. Oh man, like get the right tool for the job, right? And make sure you know how to use it. You
And the
know.
bad thing with cranes is taking the guards off is as easy as just turning a key.
Yeah. So you can like lock. That's how they tip then and stuff, right? Like you can lock out the limiter and stuff, right? Is that what you're saying? Like you can.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
I would, and I'm probably going to get ridiculed for this, but 90% of crane accidents happen because of operator error.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's either because they had more confidence in what they thought, they trusted the machine more than what it was capable of, or they put the machine in a position that it wasn't capable of withstanding. I mean, it. So when I'm in that Tadano, if I was making a pick that was out of my chart and I need another 10,000 pounds, I can literally do this, reach behind my seat, and turn a key and override
Oh no.
absolutely everything on it.
Wow. And why like so because I get it because you're have a ratio, right? Something like 5 to 1 or something like that, right? So you do have like a zone where you can still operate in, right? Is that kind of the theory behind that?
They're tested to 110%,
Yeah, yeah.
but there are certain situations where the machine may have an issue where you need to be able to retract it or boom it up, or you know, say something malfunctions on it. You have to be able to override all of the malfunctions,
Right, yeah, okay, yep, yep.
and that's what that key does.
Yeah.
Is it so? Say I'm cabling up with a piece and it's too heavy for the machine. The machine recognizes it and says, "Hey, this is out of your capacity." Well, as the operator, I can reach behind the seat and turn that key and override that redundant system that says, "Hey, shut it down."
And then would there be sorry, one. Good night, Boiled Nuts. Thanks for coming, my man. Aloha. Boiled Nuts is in Hawaii, eh? Lucky guy, eh? So would there be like a backup sensor, or like say if you did that, would there be still like a say something if you're loading one of your outriggers too much, it'll limit too, or
Oh no! If I turn that key behind the
it's
seat,
it, eh?
it overrides everything. I could physically twist that crane in two,
Yeah, yeah,
and I mean, for Tadano's safety or any of the other big manufacturers, as soon as you turn that key, actually, Tadano it starts data logging at 90% of capacity.
oh, okay.
So as soon as I get to
Ooh.
90% of the load chart, that computer starts recording everything the machine's doing.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that. That's really, yeah, right for
That's to exonerate them, so they can come in,
exactly, yeah,
plug
yeah,
their laptop into it, download the information, go to court, and be like, it's this guy.
yeah, that's right. And not to be hard on the operator by saying that either. It's just it could happen to the best of guys. Something could be missed, right? Like it's that one time, that one thing, it could happen, right? It's not like you know just
Well, realistically, the only I guess I'll kind of be hard on the operator because I'm an operator. I can do
yeah,
that. I guess I have that luxury. But
sure, yeah,
um,
yeah,
if something's missed, it's because the operator didn't see it.
yeah,
It's either now if you look at sinkholes and stuff, and it happens a lot in Florida.
yeah,
That's a completely unknown, and and I can't fault those operators for that. If
yeah,
you're making a pick and your outrigger completely disappears because the
yeah,
ground gave away, how do you fault the guy for that?
that's right.
But if the ground's stable, the machine's stable, and he's making a pick that's 115% and the crane turns over, that's on the operator.
Sure it is,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
there's no shying away from that. I mean, someone at that point made a bad decision, and it's typically the guy in the seat. I mean, I hate to point fingers, but being the guy in the seat, I guess I have that luxury.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just like Big Blue,
just like
and
Big Blue.
I'll touch on it real quick because, and I hate touching on crane accidents, but it was too windy that day.
Yep,
Anybody that's seen that footage knows that it was too windy that day. The guy sitting in the seat should have said no,
yep.
and he should have said not only no but hell no, and shut the machine off and went home. And because he didn't, two iron workers died.
Was that was in the '90s, right? That one, was it?
I think so. And someone commented earlier it was in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yes, that's right. Yeah, I think it was Lothar 900 who come up with that information as well. Um, yeah, like there are checklists, right? Like you do have to like just to so you don't to remind you, right, to check this and check that.
There's parameters you have to
Yeah,
follow. I mean, every job's a little bit different, but
yeah,
there's still every there's still a lot of things that are still the same. Do you have the right amount of counterweight? Do you have the right outrigger span? Do you have the right stability under your outriggers? Do you have the right boom length? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that plays into it. But if a person circumvents one of those things and it goes south, I mean that's on the guy sitting in the seat. If a
yeah,
guy's stretched away out over a building and they said, "Hey, this unit's going to weigh 3,000 pounds," and the operator says, "Hey, I'm good for 3,200," and then all of a sudden the unit weighs 3,400 because the person didn't guess it correctly, and the guy still picks it. If something happens to the crane, that's on the crane operator.
yeah, yeah. Shock loading a crane is no good, right? Like,
No, shock loads are bad. Shock loads and wind.
yeah, yeah. That we had a beam. It was a 9,000 pound beam. The limit on the crane was at where it was extended was I think 8,000, right? And we had kind of pre-rigged it. So you know how sometimes you roll the I beams, right, to kind
Mm-hmm.
of get them properly rigged and stuff like that. But so we were in the middle of rolling it, but it was too heavy and it slipped and it fell back. Like it rolled back and off the truck. This is a tower crane, right? The buddy up in this, he had to change his underwear after that one, but you know, he had to boom in to get it up, right? But he was like inching. We had to move fencing and shoring and all kinds of things so he could boom in enough to lift it, right? But
and people don't get that. They don't understand the dynamics of a crane.
mm-hmm.
So, like, I pulled into a job site one day where a guy wanted me to set an air conditioning unit that was, I think it was 180 feet away from me. He's like, "Well, isn't that a 200-ton crane? Can't you handle that?" I'm like, "Okay, so it handles 200 tons 8 feet away from the center of rotation.
Yeah.
The further out we go, the less that capacity gets, and some people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They think it'll pick 200 tons 200 feet away.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the opposite way around. That's right. A lot of because we're used to that, I guess, right? Where forklifts and things like that tell you what their max weight is to lift.
I'll never be able to put that Tadano in a position that I'll pick a full 200 tons. Mm-hmm. I mean, you would have to anchor something to the ground right between my outriggers off the side to get the 200-ton pick out of it.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, eh? Like for a mobile, that's a lot of weight.
Almost 500,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, man. I can't believe that.
Realistically, I wish crane operators would base their capacity off of like a 15 or 20 foot radius.
Yeah,
something that's available in the real world. And where the confusion lies is you'll have, say, Tadano rates their cranes in an 8 foot radius. Well, Grove may rate theirs at a 10 foot radius. So there's 2 feet difference in there, and people think, well, 2 feet's not that big a difference. Well, in the crane world, inches matter.
Yep, I'll vouch for that for sure, man. Absolutely.
So I wish every crane manufacturer would say, hey, this crane's rated at 50 tons at 15 feet. And then this crane is rated at 100 tons at 15 feet. And that way you could compare apples to apples instead of, National saying our 55-ton boom truck will pick up 50 tons at 8 feet, and then Manatech saying ours will pick up 50 tons at 10 feet.
Yeah, that's always like, yeah, there's a math involved as well. There's math involved here, right? Like,
oh yeah, I do math every day.
Yeah, it's amazing because when I was in school, right, I didn't find math interesting at all, right?
Hated it.
Yeah, I absolutely hated it. Yeah, but now, it's like, man, I know all my conversions in my head, like from metric to imperial, and you know what I mean. I know all those conversions, and I know the geometry and things like that now. It's crazy, right? Like, so good at math now. And then of course money, right? Putting a dollar sign in front of those numbers. You learn how to add that up pretty quick, right?
The one thing I would like to do is go back to my 3rd grade teacher, be like, hey, checkmate. Because my 3rd grade teacher always said, hey, you need to learn this stuff because you won't be walking around with a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life. Be like, hey, yeah, I got a supercomputer.
That's so true. Yeah, we have supercomputers in our pockets now. I know who didn't what teacher didn't say that when we were kids, right? That's so funny.
I've got the World Wide Web in my hand.
Right, at our fingertips. It's amazing. And that's something else too, right? Like if you're not sure about something, the information's there, right? Like there's a lot of information online, and you're talking about guys cutting asbestos, right? Like, look, have you ever heard of an MSDS, or you know what I mean? Like, you're just gonna how did they think that was gonna be okay? Like, who doesn't even know about that nowadays, right? Like,
yeah, they've moved past asbestos and went straight to silica. I mean,
right?
Asbestos was sold in 1982. Now we're on silica.
Yeah, the silica is bad stuff. when I was I did some sandblasting, right? And that's silica, right? You have to use the whole suit and air like you have or you're hooked up to constant air. Hey, oh, you ready for a movie?
Yeah, because I really want to watch Wicked Wolf
Okay.
number 2.
Okay, I'll come up in a minute then.
That has the big Wicked Wolf that
Okay.
makes the house.
Okay, you got her. All right, that's awesome. She wants the kids want to watch a movie now, so but it's okay. Well, we got we can talk for a few more minutes though. Anyone have any?
You got a family to go take care of, man.
Oh,
Go
absolutely.
do that.
Oh, yeah, no, I will for sure. I just want to make sure if anyone has any final questions or anything like that in the chat for Jimmy, and that's the time to ask him for sure. The tallest bridge in France. Felt so sorry.
That's Milou.
Milou, yeah, for viaduct. Felt sorry for those crane ops on top of those bridges because they had to walk up and it took an hour. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
I always wondered like why like there's some guys have to climb like climb right.
Not me.
They need
I didn't
elevators.
I didn't get this physique by climbing stuff.
Right. That's
I
awesome.
jokingly say the more I eat, the safer the crane is because it has more counterweight in it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh man, the guys who come and like set up the tower cranes are pretty wild, eh? They
No, I'm not doing it.
no heck no. Those guys are really safe, but they're nuts. Like
I don't get higher than corn or lower than potatoes.
right on. That's awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for coming tonight, man. Huge honor.
I can't
Like,
thank you enough for having me on. It's been a great live stream.
yeah, this is awesome, man. This is exactly how I imagine this going. Like, for this whole panel thing is awesome, man. A lot of good information here. Like, it went for over 2.5 hours, man. Holy cow! Like, that's awesome. That's a lot of information.
You barely scratched the surface. I'll show you real
Right?
quick before
Yeah.
you jump off here. People ask me like, "What do you got to
Yep.
learn to operate that crane?"
There, yeah, yep.
So this is it.
That is that the project manual or the manual for the Tadano?
The two black folders
Yep.
are the manuals for the upper and the lower, and then the blue one is my crane certification study guide.
Right on. Yeah. So the legislation, things like that would be in there, and
It's all the OSHA standards and rigging and
Yep.
all the stuff that people have called me out on that said, "Hey, you're not doing this right, and you're not doing that right," and whatever.
like I had to go to a 5-day course just to be a rigger, right? Like I went through a 5-day course just to get my rigging ticket.
Yeah, this is the book just for the carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the driving portion of it, and then that's the book for the upper.
Wow. And you have to know it, or at least know how to get to certain sections quick, right?
Yeah, I pretty much know everything that's in that book.
Yeah.
Both those books.
Yeah. That's the best part. Is your experience and like it's the whole your experience and your knowledge is so valuable, and you have a lot of responsibility, so it's like it's a really big deal having you on my channel, man. Like I really appreciate it.
My experience and my knowledge is that's just a small portion of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ever changing. It's fluid.
Nice.
If I went to get into a different crane, it'd be a whole nother set of those. Because even if it was the same size, if it's a Liebherr, it operates a little bit different than the Tadano does. So
Yeah.
it's a whole nother set of books. So, I will share my information with anybody that wants to learn it, and anybody that's interested. I feel that's our responsibility. As you
Yep.
said it earlier, how'd you put that? We are seniors or the
veterans now. Yeah,
veterans.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the veterans of it.
Yep.
It's our responsibility to teach the younger people coming up on how to do this stuff, and um, it's our responsibility to share that information.
Yeah.
If we don't, someday our toilet's going to do this when it should do this.
Yeah.
Who are we going to call to fix it?
Yeah. Right. Right. The HRPWXC will show up, right?
Yeah, 25 years from now, when someone's going to fly something over my house with a crane,
Yep.
I want that guy to have a little bit of information.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's um that's it, man. We need to definitely share information more freely, and definitely respect those who do, because that's just it, man. Like, no one's gonna take your job, right? No, and if they do, that means you just train them to be really good, right? Like,
Actually, if someone takes your job, it's because you suck at your job.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, not to sugarcoat it. I'm not really much for sugarcoating.
Very good.
If you train someone to do your job and they take it, it's because you sucked at it.
Yeah, that's very well said, actually. And that's related to guys not wanting to share information, because if they do, they're afraid you will pass them. You know what I mean? Or they'll start have to work harder. You know what I mean? Because right.
Or say I teach a guy that's in his 20s and he's just coming up in the crane world, and then I teach him everything I know, and then he takes my job. It's because he took the initiative to go one step further than what I did.
Yep.
Therefore, he deserves my job.
Right on, man. Right on.
It's the way it is. If I want to continue to be at the pinnacle of my career, then I have to continue to learn.
Yep.
And continue to share my information with other people.
Yep.
And if someone takes it, some days I'd gladly give it to them.
Yeah, right.
If someone takes it, then they have taken the initiative to know more than I do.
Yeah. Well, it does feel good training guys, and seeing them go off on their own, right? Like, it does. It is a good feeling having an apprentice who actually, gets to your level, and goes off on their own. Like, I know with our trade, like, that's how it works. Like, you only get a guy for so long until you teach him, how to fly on his own wings. You know what I mean? Because that's how we make money. There's always going to be someone I always have somebody who I gotta teach below me, right? And try to bring up guys, and it feels good. It feels good to let them off on their own, and you spend a lot of time training guys, but it also keeps you fresh, right? Like, it's good to know.
And the way I look at it is, I have people, they ask me, like, well, what's it like to have people below you? And I don't really have people below me. I've got people that are transitioning. I've always been at the thought that no one's below me. They're maybe in a different place than I am.
Yep.
But we're all still equal. It is what it is. Someone, say someone wants to get a skid loader and get into the crane world. They're not below me. They just have a different craft in mind.
Yep.
They want to get into something different. We'll train them accordingly.
Yeah.
And I've also been told on job sites that, do you cuss at all on your channel?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So I've had people say, "Hey, you're an asshole." I'm like, I'm not an asshole. I don't treat people badly. I treat them accordingly.
Yes.
So
that's true. Yep. Yeah. I'm always nice to them at first, right? Like, they all get a fair shot, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Sometimes people untie that knot though, and it gloves are off.
That's right. Yep.
Prime example, I was on a job last week. A guy started yelling at me. I'm like, dude, I'll take this crane back to the shop.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can't believe you'd say something like that. I'm like, hey, if you yell at me, this crane's leaving. Yep. Period. I'm not here to put up with your crap. I'm not going to listen to your mouth. You're not going to mouth off to me. If you do, crane's going home.
Yeah. Dude, I hate assholes. I do. I really hate assholes. There's so many of them in the trades, eh? Like,
but there's so many of them that are assholes for no reason.
Exactly.
They just wake up and like, hey, I'm gonna be an asshole.
Yep.
And then there's us. They're like, hey, I'm gonna be good unless you're an asshole to me, and
That's
then
right.
I'm gonna return it tenfold.
That's right, dude. That's right. Yeah.
Wait till you have the mag drill above your head. I'm gonna unplug it.
Right on. Right on. Lothar 900. Yeah, you have a great night, man. Thank you for coming tonight, buddy. That's awesome, man. And yeah, man, I guess I should keep going and get with the girls. They want to watch a movie and hang out. So
Yeah, you gotta go take care of your family.
yeah, man. We could talk for more. I'm sure. I know we could.
We could be up till at least 6 o'clock my time.
Yeah. Right. Well, that just means we'll have to do it again, and we'll also pick up again on Sunday on your channel.
Well, what needs to happen is you need to probably come to Missouri sometime.
Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah.
And I need to put you in the seat of the Sedano. We need to record some video of it.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah. Yeah.
If you make it here, I will put you in the crane. It may not be on a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'll get you some seat time.
Nice. I would love that. Yeah. I would. I have to work that into my schedule. Yeah, that'd be great. How so if I go into Florida, how far are you from?
Oh,
like,
we're
say,
a long ways from Florida.
Are you? Okay, I thought you were over that way for some reason.
I'm
in Wisconsin.
about 20 miles from the geographical center of the United States.
Oh, I got I got you. My geography down there isn't the best.
Based on the fact that you asked how close I was to Florida, I would agree with that.
Yeah, well, you guys, there's a lot of states, eh? They don't. Do you know they don't teach us that stuff in school here? Well, they might now, but not when I was a kid. They didn't.
So if you drew a line from like north to south through the United States,
yeah,
I would be pretty close to that line.
I got you. Yeah, now I'm looking at the map now. Like I've been down the East Coast, right? I've been all the way down there, but I've never been further than Florida, right? I've never been any
as far south as you can go on the East Coast.
Yeah. I've been all the way down there to Miami.
So you know where Minnesota is?
Yep.
I am straight south of Minnesota, about halfway to Texas.
Yeah. I'm looking. I see it right there. Wow. Yeah. So you're that's wild. We kind of live in the same, like, because I'm in the middle of the country too, right? So the ocean's far.
So you can fly straight south and be here.
Yeah, I can fly straight south. Yep. Yeah.
Well, the invitation's there. If you ever want to come, you got a place to stay.
That's awesome, man. Definitely will. We're definitely gonna do it sometime for sure. Because when we, become famous YouTubers, we'll be able to go and do different things, right?
I'm not banking on me being a famous YouTuber.
Yeah, right.
You may get there, but if you do, don't forget the little guys.
Hell no, never. You never forget the people, along the way, right? Like that's a really cool thing about this platform, eh? Is everybody you meet, like, it's amazing. It's
I'm a firm believer you dance with the one that brought you.
Yeah, yep, exactly, man. Me too. That's right. I was raised old school. My father's an old school businessman, right? And he got really strong. What do you call them?
Business morals.
Morals, yeah, morals and things like that, right? So he's a really good guy, and he kept his friends real close as he came up, and he's a very successful man himself. So, but yeah, his group of buddies all came up together, right? So it's pretty neat to see that sort of stuff. But
if you fly into Kansas City, I'll pick you up. You're only an hour away from the house at that point.
Oh, so, yeah, we could catch a game maybe too. NFL, we got some tickets. My cousin works for like a marketing company. We get NFL tickets, anything, man, for free. I have to check him. I have to hit him up.
Better perks than I do. I live in the country,
right?
All I can do is put you in a crane.
No, hey, and that's awesome. That'd be sick, man. I'd love to do that. I've only ever been in a 30-ton and in a tower crane. I mean, I use telehandlers and skid steers all the time, right? But the crane time, like, it's, like I said, I couldn't do it. I when I finally got in the seat, I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit down. Like, I'm too much of, like, I'm too hyper. I gotta keep my legs moving and things like that, right? Like, especially when I was younger, I could not sit down. But the stress of it all is why I ended up getting out of it. Even as a rigger, it was just too stressful. I couldn't do it. I needed to get out right away from it because it's a lot of responsibility, right? It's very stressful.
It is, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that or don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, try it out and take it seriously. You'll find out, right? Hopefully.
And that's when you end up with crane accidents.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But go take care of your family.
Yeah, man. Thank you again so much for coming. And guys, get subscribed to Jimmy's channel. The link is in the description. Actually, I can link it one more time real quick too in the chat. And yeah, man, we'll see you on Sunday, eh?
Lester and Thompson was he was gonna hang it up a long time ago. He's been hanging out.
Yeah, I've seen that. I know. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Lester Thompson and Lothar 900 hung in there right to the very end, eh? That's really appreciate that a lot. Jim Arnold.
I'll shoot you an email or
yep.
Actually unblock my number off your phone.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll do that right now too.
I'll shoot you a text. We'll do something on Sunday.
That sounds good, man. All right, guys. Thank you again so much, my man, and we'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm gonna stop the stream, and we'll still be. I'm not sure if just probably Lester's the last guy in here. Thanks, guys. Right on. So yeah, that's the stream's done.
All right, that was a good one,
dude. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, actually.
I posted on my community tab earlier, so I'm sure that's where Lester came from.
Right on, dude. That's the one place I forgot, but I did post it on all the Discord channels and everything like that. So
let's see what I've gotten 5 thumbs up on when I post on my community tab.
Oh, nice.
But
yeah, I'll check out trying to check out the stats. I love it. It takes a while, but you can tell how many people came in. 13 likes, 14 now. Still,
hopefully you get some views out of it. I mean,
still 4 people watching.
That was a pretty good stream.
Yeah, I think it sounded and looked good, eh? Like I didn't hear no echoing or anything like that. Nobody complained about the audio, just the music was too low, but it was taking up too much CPU speed. I need to get more RAM, I guess, to run the music at the same time. But
you got to be careful with the music because of the copyright stuff.
Well, no, actually, I have copyright. Like I pay for it, right? So I have the right to use it. It's through Streamlabs. It's a plugin. It's called Pretzel Rocks. And it's got radio stations, and you can search by artists and all kinds of there's tons of music. It's really good. It's actually really good.
You're still streaming?
No. Oh, maybe.
I think you are.